Sit up.
And we are live.
SoundMinds.
This is the SoundMinds podcast. You don't want to miss these gems. You don't want to miss these gems. You don't want to miss these gems. This is the SoundMinds podcast. You don't want to miss these gems. You don't want to miss these gems. You don't want to miss these gems, no.
Oh, we are back Sunday, 7 o'clock, man. These days are starting to feel like minutes starting to feel like seconds, and we still in quarantine. But nonetheless, though, welcome to SoundMinds Sunday on a Sunday, the best, probably your favorite time right now. We got a special guest, man. I put a little live together yesterday, man, because I had to introduce my brother, man, because I know my brother's well known, but I kind of felt like, yo, you straight up are the Ryan Seacrest, Nick Cannon, Steve Harvey of the hood right now. You know what I mean? You on everything. You straight up that dude from back in the 80s movies that nobody, like they like, yo, I see him everywhere. My brother, SHICE, MrTalkofDaTown, formerly known as the voice of Brooklyn, but now he's the voice of the universe. So real quick, it does no justice for me to just introduce my man without playing this video and let the world understand who we dealing with right now, man. Because when they talk about multiple facets of everything that you involved with, octopus hands, this is my brother SHICE, man, the hustler's hustler.
All right.
Y'all ready to get this started? 3, 2, 1. SHICE, MrTalkofDaTown. Let's get it.
Who the hell is Young M.A.?
So we just showed a video, and I gotta say that is literally the Cliff Note, small snippet of a video of who he really is. Actor.
Look, wink, wink, like wink, wink. Look. That's like the shortest version we could ever show you because I swear, this brother right here, it's like, I'm talking about jack of all trades. I mean, can we say his name with some respect?
My brother SHICE, MrTalkofDaTown, talk of the universe. SHICE Boogie to me, man. This is my brother, man. Welcome to SoundMinds podcast, man. Welcome to SoundMinds Sunday, brother. It is a pleasure, man. Straight up live claps as we go on, man. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Not only like I said, man, actor, TV, radio host of multiple shows, man, all type of celebrity games, advocate for the youth, started a dope program that we're going to talk about too, man. SHICE, welcome, brother.
Thank you, guys. Yo, when y'all talk about people, man, y'all got me looking for a whole new person in the background. I was like, who are you talking about? You're talking about me?
Yeah, man.
Welcome, my brother, man. Welcome.
And before we start, I gotta say this. Yo, I respect this podcast. Yo, the intro is fire. Yo, the gems thing, I loved it. I was sitting in there going, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. So I'm just gonna let you know, I might have to bite a little bit of it and then put it into mine, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, this is the podcast meets podcast. You know what I'm saying? Look,
yes,
just
sir.
like that early, he set it off rip. Like, hey, I might have to snatch it. Hey, listen, we love the background. We love the setup. We might have to snatch a little bit from you.
Listen, you know what they say?
Look.
Listen, you know what they say? Good people borrow, great people steal. You know?
There you go. Still sharp as steel. You know what I mean? We out here dropping bars together. Who the next two?
Hold up, like you said, steel sharpen steel.
Yes, sir.
Don't you ever in your life.
Double entendres. You know what I mean? Double entendres. We out here, man.
Hey, this is what I'm talking about. This is the great thing about this. Y'all be dropping with the gems, and it goes over people's head, and then somebody got to catch it. Wait, stop. Still. Message.
Word.
You just been hit with a gem.
Word up, man.
You should do a little thing where they do that, be like, boop. You've been hit with a gem.
That's funny. That's funny you say that.
We need
That's
that.
funny you say that.
Hit him with the head.
Listen,
Rashaman has been on that for a minute. He the one that did the intro too. He said the same thing. Yo, every time somebody drop a gem, let's do the bang. You know what I mean? The ding ding.
Yeah.
So
let me tell you, I ain't gonna lie to you. I do something on my podcast when people say something stupid. I got a snippet of Tyrese. I be doing dumb shit. And every time somebody say something stupid, I'll be like, wait, you just been hit with the dumb shit. Like, listen, they gotta get it. I don't hold no bars. Listen, you come in here, you better have everything on. You better have the Holy Ghost. I don't care which. You better listen. I'm coming at you.
Facts. Yeah.
Man. Yo, I want to first of all welcome all our listeners to Constellation, the co-stars, sisters, and bro stars. I want to say this is epic history. We out here, maybe almost half a third through our second season, and this is the first time we've ever collaborated with another podcast. And by the end of this hour and 30 minutes or so, you will understand why. We couldn't have been more delighted to have a guest taking time out from his podcast, his busy schedule, and so forth. Like they were saying, some of the things you've seen in the clip, you've seen that he's a host, you've seen that he's an actor, but most importantly, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, I don't think this bars anyone we've had on the show so far, in both seasons so far. Everyone we've had is both understanding the impact of entertainment and youth mentorship education, correct?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's exactly
Yes,
what
sir.
we need. We definitely need to get into that because every guest is active with the youth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then I'm right on that. And this is, if you look at some of his stuff, once you get done with this, we always know that you're going to go and Google our guests more. We could only cover so much in 90. You're going to find out this brother really lives and breathes what we do when we say edutainment. The entertainment is important because no matter what gems you got, if people ain't paying attention to you, they not going to catch them. And the education is important because once you get people's entertainment and attention, what you going to do with it? Let them go the way they was already going before you got their attention, or worse?
Hold on, I gotta put my sexy voice on. You've been hit with the gem.
In other words, anybody who needs any type of voiceovers for any type of animation, my brother's here for that as well. Man.
You've been hit with the gem.
Right, that right?
Perfect. Look, and we also got to say SoundMinds to that, man. That is a cue. That is something that we cue in during the podcast when you do drop those gems. You know what I mean? It's a SoundMinds. That's SoundMinds right there. You know what I mean? So that's definitely SoundMinds. Just to state that, you know what I mean, to understand the place that where we at right now and the level that we at right now, and we about to dive into that, man. We only 9 minutes into this, and we done dropped some gems. We done made you laugh. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we already about to be crazy over here, man. So definitely make sure you share, hit that like button, and make sure you capture your favorite 60 seconds of this podcast and share it to your people.
And tag it so we could repost your favorite perspective gems. We want your perspective.
I gotta take my shirt off then and let them see the fat. They don't want to see these man movies. I bet you that'll go viral.
Take off. That's about to take off. Look, here we go. There's the turning point right now.
I would definitely get people's attention.
We needed the moment. You know what I mean? We needed the viral moment. That might be the one.
You ain't getting that on my account. I ain't taking it on my.
Yo, that's the clip, Rob. That's the clip for this week. Get it right there.
Be like this.
I'm like,
With the 3 dots, like, see what happened
said,
next.
oh, I might as well take off my shirt. Cut.
But you notice, not one of us three was like, yo, word, nah, I'll take my shirt off for that. We was like, oh, Dad, you gonna do that? We need the viral moment. Go ahead.
Viral.
Use me as a damn pawn. Talk about, yeah, you go ahead with that. Yeah, we gonna go viral here.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta say, man. So for the most part, for everybody who's watching right now, whoever's gonna watch on YouTube and all that, man, this episode, honestly speaking, I don't care if you're going through depression. I don't care what you're going through. Not that I don't care. I care. But what I'm saying is, whatever you feel and whatever your emotions are, this is a podcast in which there's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of gems you're going to catch. There's going to be a lot of stuff. You honestly should have a notebook and a pen in front of you so that you could jot everything down, because my brother's going to spit some things at you, man. We're going to go back and forth. Again, podcast means podcast. But even if you feel like you are going through a down moment in life, as many of us are with COVID and job loss and losing loved ones, this might be that podcast where you might want to call your friend and be like, yo, let's watch this together today, man. This one is going to be the one that's going to make us laugh. You know what I'm saying? So, and trust when I say that. Man, he might take his shirt off. He might. Take my shirt off.
If we get.
Nah, don't challenge them. Don't put a challenge up, because they gonna beat you. Trust me, they'll get the challenge.
I was egging him on early. Like, go ahead. That's exactly what they do on YouTube. Do that YouTube show.
Hit him with the number. Hit him with the number.
Word. Put a number up there and be like, look, I gotta do it. God. My wife gonna be like, you know what? You do it again. Do it again. I'm like, they did it. It was them. They was dropping. And I'm gonna hit her in the head. Message. Message.
Yo, so SHICE, my brother, man. So for the most part, man, let's I don't know if you want to get into the history of how we met, or do you want to touch on that?
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
I'm with it.
How about I would like to know right before then a little bit about the podcast aspect. You know what I'm saying? This personality right here.
Yes.
You know, this personality that we are seeing right now, we need to tie that in to his podcast. You know what I mean? That energy right now definitely got to get tied into his podcast.
Are you broadcasting right now, bro?
I was, but why you gonna put me on the spot, bro? See, this is the thing.
The shirt comment threw him off.
But we'll work that out. I've been trying.
On a regular scenario, how many platforms do you talk to people through? You talk to people through YouTube. I seen you on Instagram,
YouTube. I'm now on iHeartRadio. I'm now on TitansRadio.com. I'm on TuneIn, Spotify, Spreaker.com, SoundCloud, some other thing I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It goes across seas, but yeah. And that's
on a regular basis.
Yeah, an Apple Podcast.
And the name of the podcast. And the name of the podcast is
Let's Talk CraZee.
That's one of his children.
Crazy. I get and listen, crazy.
Wait, and you gotta spell crazy, CraZee.
Yeah.
CraZee. Yeah. And for my women in the hood, they be like this: you crazy, you crazy. That's how we got that.
That's when that weed be a little bit itchy and they can't scratch it.
Yeah.
Girl, you crazy or something? Now my weed itchy. Can't scratch it.
Damn it, self.
Am I lying though?
Yo, what's so crazy about that now? And I'm sorry, women, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when women have these wigs got parts in it, so they trying to act like it's a real scalp. And then, I really thought this girl had her hair laced. And when she pulled it off, I said, I saw a part though. She was like, yeah, you get it made like that to make it look like you got a part and show your scalp. I said, y'all tricking people. This is way too much. I said, you can't go around tricking people like that.
Yo, I gotta say, this is a perfect segue to next week's episode where we're talking about our queens. So, so I'm gonna lay low on those. Right?
I'm gonna say clip that part right there.
Listen,
we clipping that part right there.
I will say anything that you don't want to say. I'm that guy. All right. I am tired of being tricked. I be on Instagram. I be like, damn, she beautiful. Then she take all her makeup up. I be like, hold up. How you went through 5 different skin changes in less than a minute?
Did he just say skin changes?
Yes. She went from
5 skin changes
to looking like a grown white woman. How?
Oh man.
Now that's why we know the podcast is called Let's Talk Crazy. You heard? Listen, but
so
I'm not even saying that I disagree with him either, because there is a lot of things going on the internet.
Hold on. Listen, I'm gonna say this. My views are my views and none of SoundMinds. Okay.
Yes. SoundMinds does not condone or process any allegations throughout these statements. And speaking of a lot of things, if you on Facebook right now, also log on to YouTube and tell your people they can log on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, vice versa. We broadcasting to all these at the same time. And if you want to, go ahead, throw your Instagram live on the screen for people who can't get on. Just show them a little clip of what you're watching and then let them find their way to us. We love you. Also, man. Spread the word.
And also at the same time, shout out to my brother Joe Vasquez, man, who had a watch party. I know certain people love having watch parties. If you want to throw a watch party on YouTube or whatever it is, by all means, thank y'all for the support. We love every one of y'all for listening, for paying attention, and for tuning on with us, even sometimes when you got things to do as well. So thank y'all for that. So before we get shut down,
you said before we get shut down, you're about to say what you about to say to about to get shut down.
I think we passed the shutdown part. SHICE. So how many things? So you got Let's Talk Crazy. We got that on TV. You know what I'm saying? You got Ride and Review.
Yeah, that's my baby.
What else?
Let's Talk Crazy, Ride and Review. We got that consists of radio and TV. So we broke into that. One thing I just want to put this out here. Like this platform where podcast to podcast is definitely needed, because I hate to see people stingy. I hate a stingy person. And it's like nowadays you ask somebody something, they all secretive with their information. Listen, let's build. It's enough people in this world. We can all get our voice out.
Thanks.
You know, so that's where basically I started. We got that. It started with, matter of fact, I'm gonna show you something. I hope y'all ain't see my fat. So this, I keep this poster hanging up because this is the first time that when we started, it started with 5 of us. And as you can see, it's just me. Shout out to my boy Ray Sites though. That's this one right here. He does Sites Media. And he is a hell of a videographer and photographer, and me and him are still a team. He was just like, one day I don't want to be in front, I want to be behind, and he did pause. I shouldn't have said it like that. Pause. No disrespect to who like to be in front, who like that, but pause. All right, but come on, listen. You got it. I see yourself.
Moving forward.
But he, he just basically, so me, I've always been the person that's more.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's like the most we have on, including our guests. You said you have 5 people on the show at first. So
yeah, and it was really hard to do. We were all great friends. We still cool to this day, but everybody just has too much. When it's that many people, you got to deal with a lot of stuff. So me and Ray.
That reminds me of myself, right, yo? like me on the
Left?
podcast. I'm a lot of people, yo. It be a lot sometimes.
He be like, yeah, I got
I'll be
17.
interrupting myself, like, chill, son. Chill.
Listen,
Not talk.
don't
about
talk
to
to yourself. They're gonna lock you up for that
This
one.
is about to be crazy, yo.
If
You
you
see the prison walls, right?
Self was about to interview himself.
Nah, but that's real. So what you basically saying is this brother realized there's lots of ways to take part. I don't have to be in front of the camera. I don't have to be. And as we evolve, you try all these things out. It doesn't mean you have to do everything, and it doesn't mean it was wasted either. That's another thing I try to tell people. Like, all of the things you did help you get to where you're going anyway. So nothing's wasted.
listen, my struggle is a lesson in itself. Listen, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I struggle a lot, but I've learned the model of, and it might be cliche, of the Michael Jordan model, right? He was the one who said, I failed over 3,000 times, but I'm the greatest now. You know what I'm saying? If you don't fail, you don't know how good you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hustler at heart, but I love to talk. As long as somebody's gonna listen, I'm gonna talk. And to see my team, like, and not to go back to my homeboy, but Sites, to watch him, he encouraged me. He was my first friend to say, yo, I'm leaving a good job to do what I want. Right. And when I say he had a good job, I'm talking about he was working BET, he was working Viacom, and I looked at him like, are you crazy? Like, who does that? But LiteSkin, no, I had a job and I left. Listen, I came in on a Tuesday, I never forget, and told them I was leaving Friday. It hit me that Tuesday, and it said, yo, I don't agree with what everything's going on now, and I gotta go. So 3 years ago, I decided to walk away. And do I have my struggles? Yes. And I'm still struggling because I just came back from 6 months doing a job. And I thought I was coming back to about 15, 16 gigs already signed. And the pandemic said, nah. So now I'm like, I ain't got no money to do it. So that's a struggle in itself. And you know, when you got family, you like, what you do now? But the negative was I lose my financial part of it. But the greatest gift that I could learn from that was reinventing myself.
Yes.
You know, so again, LiteSkin, no, I try everything and I'm not scared to try it. I got some ideas that I want to do and I'm about to do, but I came in here and I set up my office and I
SoundMinds looking flavor.
SoundMinds to that. SoundMinds to that. I want
SoundMinds.
Yes,
and you know what's crazy?
Also, not skip by. I want to skip by one thing that he just mentioned.
Yes.
He mentioned the gig that he just came off of and was supposed to have something set up for him. That's an expansion off of your skill and talent that you display off of the podcast. You know, that hosting skill, that event host skill, you know what I mean? That TV host skill, that radio personnel skill now has landed you a gig to be on the Carnival cruise you speaking of.
Yeah.
Like, so now right there, that you talking about a gig, you know what I mean?
We're gonna have to talk about that for a minute and a second too, because cruises was the most hardest hit by the pandemic. So that right there is the epicenter of everything we talking about on the pandemic side, the entertainer side, balancing the career, having a good 3 to 6 months on a gig versus having a good 3 to 6 months being stuck in a pandemic. Like, but before we get to that, I want to say something like, as you segue to it, since you did so much stuff and you sacrificed so much, have you ever been a rapper or a singer, bro?
I tried to rap.
You know all these rappers and singers, like, it's hard for people to go to your website and be like, yo, does he got bars?
Listen, let me tell you, right now, I rap. If anybody, I'm a reference bars. Listen, what is that movie, 5 Heartbeats? Remember the 2 old guys? We rap country. That would be me right now. But I did try to rap. And here's the funny thing. My partner, Ray Sites from Sites Media, my buddy, I know him over 30 plus. and me and him started our first rap group together, and I never forget it. It was called SBK Soundboy Killers because we were living in Flatbush and we was
it's
in
a Brooklyn thing.
You know, hip hop reggae. And I did rap for a little bit, and
I knew it.
Listen, I can't rap. I tried. Look, I signed the contract with a sneaky dude, and this is something that people gotta listen. You signed a contract, and this guy was supposed to own me for 7 years.
Typical.
At 14, you don't think about it. You like, yo, I just want it. And I didn't realize what I had signed. So I kind of gave that up.
That was half of your life.
Yeah. But
at 14.
I got, you know, like as far as the rappers that I intertwine, my cousin is a rapper from Boot Camp Click. So I've been in music my whole life. My life is music. Yeah, so I've done that. And just watching the experience that they had, good and bad, and you know, hosting like it can I just explain how I started hosting real quick?
Yeah, I was gonna get into that too.
Segue off of the rapping, we're gonna get into hosting, but it almost seems like you did take a stab at rapping before you was really in the hosting. And everybody wants to know, did you ever consider battling Sean Carter for the name? Because we saw the clip, and one of the clips that was uncovered from all the gems, they dug in there, they pulled out a clip back in the days, and he was like, "What up, it's Sean Carter?" I was like,
"Who? Wait, I said that
battling Jigga."
Yeah, there's another video. It's another video we had up. Yeah.
Y'all doing y'all homework.
Yeah, man. Y'all here putting your government, man. We had, you know what I mean?
If you got a non-disclosure, we won't talk about it. If this
listen, if I could get 2 words with him and he say, "Yo, battle me," I will battle him. He'll beat me, but I would do it just to say I stepped in the ring.
Did it right
with Jay. I was like, "Yo, Mr. Sean Carter versus Sean Carter." And the funny thing about that, people used to call me on the phone. Like I used to call like T-Mobile back in the days when I had T-Mobile, and I called and they was like, "Sean Carter." They was like, "Is this Jay-Z?" I was like, "Hovey's home." I used to make Hovey, and then I sat over and I looked. I said at the end of the clip, she was so nice.
You said Hovey's home?
Yeah, I was like, "Hovey's home." Yeah. So I said to her, I said, "Let me explain something to you before I hang up. You know damn well Jay-Z ain't got T-Mobile. Verizon is the best company out. He's not coming to T-Mobile. He's not trying to catch delays and having his phone freeze, okay? Jay-Z probably got his own network system, okay?"
Oh man. So you never tried to get like a free month of wireless service off the namesake? You never tried to get on the VIP list? You never.
Yo, you know it's kind of hard to get a free wireless service when you like 2 months behind. They be like, nah. You be like, they be like, "Yo, you owe us
$99 in the phone service, boy. You heard me? I know about that life."
You be like this, yeah, you not the real Jay-Z. You know you owe about $300-400. I'll be like, I've been on tour, so I didn't have time. You know, and my accountant, he don't, you know, he just ain't on his game. So
now you gotta hit him. You gotta hit him with the "Yo, stop me, man. Let me get that credit though." You know what I mean? Let me get a credit. You know what I mean? Back in the bodega days.
Be like Ty out running around getting girls, and he ain't in my money business. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I'm good.
But yeah, nah, definitely, man. I mean, for the most part, Shice, when did you when did you know you wanted to host? Like, what got you into that?
Wow, that story is really crazy. I was doing street team for my cousin, and I wind up my cousin and him was on Priority at the time. So when they got on Priority, I was also doing street team with Loud Records, and I never forget I had the Big Pun account and Wu-Tang account.
Rest in peace, Pun.
Yeah. So I had that account to do street teams and go out put stickers on. Then one day I got somebody invited us to come to a comedy club, which was the Uptown Comedy Club, and it was hosted by CraZee. So again, being my cousin, who he is, I always had friends around me, and I would take the train. We from Brooklyn, Marvin to Harlem, deep, like 15, 20 deep. And I started going to the club every Sunday. And Sam looks at me and goes, yo, come here, I need to talk to you. And I'm looking like, me? Why you want to talk to me? Like what we do? So he was just like, yo, you roll around here and I see that everybody is following you. I said, nobody's following me. You know, like they just with me, but I didn't see it the way he saw it. So he said, yo, I hit you. I need you to come work for the club. And, you know, so I was working Coney Island at the time at that. So I did Coney Island, the club and street team all at the same time. And I started learning material. Like I've seen the young Kevin Hart before he blew up. I sat through. Anybody know Paul Mooney? They know Paul Mooney has a show. He's funny. But Paul Mooney sat there one night and had me, I was ready to kill him. I was like, yo, it's 2 hours and you still on stage. Like, you know, Luther Kente ain't that funny. You know, like, don't laugh yourself. Stop. I see your face.
You brought it up. That's the hard one not to cover, though.
But from there, I would take
so hard not to cover, though. Go.
I took little jokes from the comedy club, and then I was hosting the Music Express, the Break Dancer, and the Pirate Ship. And this is what really got me into hosting. I started taking some of the material, and on the Pirate Ship in Coney Island, if you guys remember, I used to send people up and make them sing, right, to get off. So if I seen that you were scared, I would bring it down a little bit, let it rock. And I would say, yo, sing me a song and I'll let you go. So my song of choice was R. Kelly, I Believe I Could Fly. And when they sung it, I would send it back up. I said, oh, you said you could fly, so I'll take it back up. And they sung it. A guy hits me with a $50 bill under a soda. He says, yo, here's a soda. I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. He was like, no, you want the soda. I said, no, bro, I'm good. But he was persistent on giving me the soda. So I said, oh. And he's like, yeah, you want that soda now? I was like, hell yeah. He was like, yo, that's for making my son cry because he thinks he's so tough. Fire. He said that, and I laughed. But then when I turned around out in Coney Island, I had a whole audience. And I was like, wow. They sat there for me, and I didn't think that it was that effective. And I started doing it week after week in Coney Island, take something from the club, come to Coney Island, and it just blew up. And I said, yo, this is what I want. I want to
Can I ask a
like
timeline, like when exactly? Can I ask like when exactly? This is
what year was?
Year-wise.
Trying to get me to tell my age, like the greats don't know.
No, not the year, but like in your age. Like, was you coming out of high school?
I was in high school. Everything with my cousin and them was in the 90s, early 90s. You know, Buck and them started coming out like early 90s. And I was taking my stuff from there. So I worked in Coney Island since I was like 15. I did it back and forth. And when I got the comedy club at probably like 16, 17, and I was there for a couple years, and that was it. I just knew that that's when I felt that my life was supposed to make people happy.
It seems like it was more so of other people coming to you. Like you was just doing your thing. You was in the zone, and other people was like, nah, when you do this, you got a gift. Like we need you. Because sometimes other people stand in this position, but they don't make us feel the way we're supposed to feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like at some point in time, you got to recognize that, like, damn, even though I love doing this, like, I never realized it's not ego, but like, everybody don't have this gift. You know what I mean?
Yes. Talk to him. No. That's a great point to really talk about, because you're talking about speaking to the youth at their frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like resonating with them at their frequency, getting them to stand up when they don't want to stand up, getting them to listen when they don't want to listen, getting them to engage when they don't want to engage. And from the research and just from your personality alone, I see that automatically. You know what I mean? Like you have that gift of an creating that engagement, you know, as a host. You really do. You carry like your title.
It's like you hitting
Right.
what they really want to do, even though they don't want to. It's like they don't want to feel the fear. They don't want to
Yes.
feel the embarrassment. They don't want to feel another adult punishing them. But they
Right.
really want to do the thing. They really want to be in the spotlight. They really want to give it a chance. And you give them that next memory bank that goes, oh, I did this, and an adult encouraged me, and he said it was great. People loved it. He had my back. You know, nobody was able to bully me. Plus, he might have said, and you're gonna continue to do even better,
Not. Oh,
right?
go ahead, brother.
The funny thing about that, and it was real simple, and I'll be honest, and I got this from one of my friends. When I first started really speaking to the kids, the thing he said to me that stuck out was, "Yo, they know when you fake."
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And
That was it.
me learning, like taking my training for corporate teaching in that element, with my job, you know, they tell you how to teach one way, right? But then your heart and the kids say another way. So George, no, I'm the defiant one in my group, but not defiant, if you know what that means, right? Like I'm not afraid to push the envelope and then let you attack me after for the kids. Um, and I remember this lady, the teacher, she said, I don't understand. I've sat with them for almost 2 years and they don't listen to me. You've been here 30 minutes and they will do anything for you. And I asked her, she said, well, what's your secret? I said, ma'am, there is no secret. I'm just not afraid to come to their level. Like, in order to get into the kid's mind, you have to go down to their level. Like, you want to be a controlling authority. I just want them to succeed, plain and simple. All jokes aside, like I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like.
Almost like you feel like intertwined with them. It's not like if I do this, they do this. It's almost like, yo, if y'all failing, I'm failing. We're a
Right.
community, right?
Yes.
It's a different way of looking at people.
You know what? I want to add. I want to add because self-suffice, like, definitely has a very passionate space in this conversation right now, and I want to highlight that because when I look at your videos and what you're doing, and you have your crowds and you rocking the crowds and things of that nature, I witnessed, my brother Self-Suffice do this for the last 3 years consecutively, being in his face, seeing him in these schools, going from school to school every week throughout the school year, creating small concerts, teaching them how to write lyrics, but more so critically think, you know what I'm saying, and control themselves and things that it's combining all of life skills into hip hop right there in a hip hop lesson. I witnessed that, and I think this right here is a great build between you two, because I really want to pull out these gems, because people like myself and others can take these gems to to move forward and take that light that you're shining.
It's certain you might just see me while he's talking, like nodding my head, because I'm like, yep. And that's why I said, like, I've gone through similar passageways where it's like I was in my zone, and then I realized, oh, this is a thing that the youth are missing that I'm doing, and there's no job description. And then so like as he's going through this, I'm like, I remember that realization too. It's like you got to be like, wait, but I'm trained to be like, it's this job or that job, and you got to go, okay, I got to be a black man with locks or whatever, hip hop, whatever the thing they're not supporting in the schools. I got to go in the system because it's this important to the kids, and I have to make a position where it's now available for other people that look like me, and most importantly, care about the kids like me.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
not only that, but and this is the missing gem, right? So what we're not speaking about is the fact that SHICE came through with his team as an officer for the Board of Ed. So you're primarily a police officer. You know what I mean? So you're primarily a police officer now. When you coming in, especially with our youth, especially in the South Bronx where we was working, or where I was working, where they came and brought it. So we're gonna get into that too. But I know me personally, when I got and I told SHICE this. When I came into work that day, they were like, yo, we got this thing for you, man. You're gonna love it. It's gonna deal with the kids and hip hop. And we already know that you are MC and you a spoken word artist. And go down to the auditorium. Go ahead. I went down. There's about 25 cops. I said, yo, what y'all doing? Are y'all playing with me? Because they know. Now, here's my disclaimer, because I know I'll get something off of this. No, I don't have a problem with all police. All I'm saying is people know my stance on certain things. So when they're saying that, I walked in, I said, yo, they trying to get me arrested. But for our kids.
You skip part of it. When they tell Light, yo, we doing this dope hip hop thing in the school today, you skip, keep it real. What went through your head? Okay, here come they about to disgrace the name of hip hop again. Hip hop thing, and you gonna like it, LiteSkin. Tell the truth. What was you thinking on your way down? Like,
I'm gonna be real with you. I was going downstairs already with the thought process of, oh, yo, I don't care what the competition is. I'm gonna make sure that I coach them into winning it. You know what I mean? So I was good with that. Right. But when I stepped in and I seen a whole bunch of
shout out to Pearl Gates too.
When he's
episode
on
10 last season, one of Lite's past students, he has mentored and allowed a way for people speaking with that hip hop voice to be great. So that's really, I was off. You just checked me crazy.
Right. Yeah,
like this corner. You was like, this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, to me, man, it's always about hip hop and how I get through to the youth, man. But the one thing about it was when I got there, I kind of felt like, all right, cool. What exactly is uniformed officers for the Board of Ed gonna have anything to do having to do with hip hop? Talk to SHICE, you know what I mean? And I felt his vibe, but again, I'm still on the chill. Y'all a bunch of cops. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Well, so make a long story short, man, out of everybody there.
If you're not black listening to this, cops are a very safe place. Multiple cops are very safe. If you're black listening to this, you already know.
It's different. But at the same time too, it's just more so when you're talking hip hop, you're talking uniform police, even for the Board of Ed or otherwise. It's kind of like, yo, what are we about to do? Because we already know, like, hip hop is always seen on a downgrade of being positive. The program was.
So are you breaking? Well, hold up. This is like breaking news. Like I'm trying to catch up a little bit because there is.
I'm getting nervous. Like, wait,
hold on.
I thought I was safe here.
You know what I'm saying? Wait, like there is a clip of SHICE in during an interview with you having a officer shirt on, some type of officer gear on. So is that a career before the hosting, before the hip hop hosting, before what you do now?
No, that's in between.
That's in between.
I've always been hosting before that. What happened was I started law enforcement. I started working, and my unit consists of cops and school safety agents at the time. So the thing was, we came up with an idea. It was me. So at the time, her name was Supervisor Welch. My sister that I call Mia, and Blackwell. We came up with an idea. We sat down. We tried to figure out what was missing with the kids. How do we reach the kids that's not the kids that's doing good? How do we attack the kids that are trying to leave school, don't have nothing, and just come? So we came up with this program, and this idea transformed from being on a bus to pulling up to the park to what it was, Crazy. And the first year we lucked out. We got Swiss Beats on board, and Swiss Beats, when he came, and this kid who was a little gangster, I tell you no lie, about 4 foot something, but he was like a little terrorist, right? And he, like, Swiss attached himself to him and said, yo, bro, like this, and sat down with him. When I seen that, I said, yo, this is what we need to be doing. This is where the kids are going to listen, and don't get me wrong. Like LiteSkin said, he ain't the first one. We walk into schools. I tell you no lie. Day one is like, oh, hell no. We pick 50 kids. We tell the school, pick 50 kids. Yo, hell no. I ain't sitting in here. I ain't doing this. And I go, and I'm always the first one.
He said, I ain't doing this.
You
heard the voice?
Because it's because of the perception of cops in school. Like, you are approaching it as a cop in school, right?
I never approached it as a cop in school. I approached it as a black man who loves hip hop. Right? I'm a hip hop head. And I saw the comment, somebody said cops in school know things.
Right.
Listen, I would agree with you at a certain
Facebook or YouTube?
No, I'm on YouTube. It came up on YouTube.
Okay.
So somebody, and I would agree if I wasn't in that platform, right? Because I'm from Brownsville.
Okay.
I'm from Brownsville. We don't like cops, period. It's trained to us. But the fact of what I've achieved, me personally with my team, I would disagree with that. And I would say you would have to know me personally first. And I've never been, from the time, and I'm asking you, LiteSkin, from the time you met me, I've never changed. I've always been the same. I speak the same way on the job as I speak off the job.
You know what's crazy? How that was like, what, 3-4 years ago or something like that? Give or take?
Yeah, about 4 years.
He so much hasn't changed. He still got that same shirt on. That's how long it's.
I did the video with it. I did the video with it.
No, I'm playing with you. I'm playing with you. I'm playing with you. Nah.
Promo video.
I'm playing with you.
Just been hit with a
jab. Truth of the matter is, and it's crazy because again, it's hard. It's hard when you. Now the funny thing is, when you meet, you meet somebody who is from the hood. You know, the only difference between us is a difference in the name of the hoods. So when I met SHICE, automatically I said, "I'm gonna see what this is about. I'm gonna definitely keep my communication with him. No disrespect to nobody else, you know what I'm saying, who was part of the team, but I felt a genuinity that, for whatever the reason, I felt like, okay, there's an energy here. I see that he's really about the youth, and he's really about that.
You saw through the uniform?
Definitely so. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I tell you no lie.
I just got to bring it back to the uniform. That's all I got. Yeah.
Let me tell you this. No lie. When I first open my mouth, nothing out my mouth says officer. Nothing out my mouth says cop. It says ratchet. I am who I am. Uniform on or uniform off. You understand? And I fought a lot of battles. And LiteSkin will tell you, I got mad when they won. They won. LiteSkin team won. Let's put that out there. They won. And that year, the bosses got on stage and took pictures, but the kids were behind them. And ask LiteSkin, where did I go? I went right behind the stage. I said, I'm not celebrating this. This is not what we're doing this for. I'm not doing this for a photo op for a boss to try to get another promotion. This ain't what I did it for. And sad to say, that's the reason I left my job, because I'm sitting next to somebody who makes double my salary, but I do the work.
Yeah.
So and let's speak on that, right? So the funny thing was, throughout this whole situation, and it's funny, and SHICE, I don't know if there's a brotherhood moment, man. I might shed a tear while I speak to you, man. I thank you for being there, just based off of the fact that a lot of the stuff that I witnessed, and it's funny that SHICE is talking about how people will try to get credit for work that they never did, right? So a lot of times, if it wasn't for my brother being there, I was going black on a lot of things that I seen, where I was just like, yo, stop trying to sit here and get the credit for stuff that you ain't doing, when it's really, I see the front line. I see who's really with it. You know what I mean? And not to mention, while he's seeing that on that end, I seen a whole bunch of administrators and administration come on when we won, because it was a borough-wide thing, all through the Bronx, all different schools. So we battled a whole bunch of different schools, talented kids, man. Straight shout out to everybody, man, that was a part of it. But then all of a sudden, people that used to sit there, administration who used to sit there, never played a part in going to even the rehearsals. I was the only one that was down there from the school. I was manning the whole thing. But then they sit there and want to give me hard time. And then when they won though, came out of nowhere, try to grab the plaque. I'm saying, yo, hold on, man. Who are you? Granted, principal or not, if you're not showing love, and that's not only the principals either, because even my school, the place that I was working with at the time, there was a very selective few that even came through and showed up, while everybody else was like, yo, we won. Who's we? You know what I'm saying? So, and then a lot of times, man, there was a television situation that came through. There was a couple of things, radio stations that, Hot 97, we was on Hot 97 all through SHICE.
All of that.
All through that. He had, and a lot of times I see a lot of people jumping in front of the camera, like trying to get credit. And I'm like, yo, but you didn't do as much as this person. Let's let this person shine. And they try to kind of, in a sense, and it kind of gave me that mentality of the Christopher Columbus mentality, where it's just kind of like you claim, you take from the resources, and then you get rid of the people that really taught you how to do certain things or were doing themselves. So if it wasn't for SHICE, man, there was a lot of times where I was sitting there like, yo, how y'all gonna act like this and try to get credit for stuff you're not doing when I see who's really about this business? You know what I mean? So shout out to SHICE, man, because honestly speaking, there was a lot of times that if it wasn't for him, I didn't know who to speak to because I knew I was gonna come off a certain way.
And that was the biggest thing with me, right? Again, this is not about us. This was about them.
Right.
And this was the one time that these kids could feel like celebrities. We don't know what their home situation is, nor do we care what their home situation is. When you hear this is your home, this is where you're gonna be a star. Win, lose, or draw.
Yep.
We treat it. Let me walk you through that process. When we get the teams and we say, yo, now y'all going to the finale. We don't exclude nobody. But when you go there, you get picked up. It was a police van, but that's all we had budget for, right? But
I felt very awkward.
Yes, right. You get picked up, yo. But when you get to the venue, we treat you like an A1 celebrity. There's a dressing room with your food in there. You don't have to do nothing but get ready to perform. And I was hard on the kids because my thing is, this is your moment. I don't know what's going to come out of this moment. So this is your moment to shine. You've been quiet all year. And shout out to what was her name? Lily. I love Lily so much because she was so quiet. But when that girl sung, she sung her ass off. She was like, and I did not know she didn't speak English that well.
She did it. Now this is the crazy thing.
Know that.
So the description, real quick, he's talking about a young lady who is possibly 4'9".
Yes.
70, 80 pounds, sweet. The thickest accent, sweetest girl who was in the school. And honestly speaking, I'm surprised that she even would have been there because of the ambiance of it, the environment. So he's talking about somebody who just you probably would never see try to sign up for something and give it a shot and shine. Crazy. But yeah.
She was like, it starts with you and me. I was like, oh, that's my shit. And we accomplished the best thing with this program. I've had kids come back to me and say, yo, I was ready and I wasn't going to college. I was going to leave. And I remember there was a kid, shout out to, I don't want to say it was school because I don't know. But he was in a school in the Bronx. And this is prior to that year, not even the year that you did it. But he came to school with a t-shirt with holes in it. And it broke my heart, right? Football player. And I found out that people paid for him to join the team to get his uniform and everything. And it broke my heart. And I did not know he was going through so much. But then he said to me, he said, yo, because of you, I'm ready to stay in school. And I'm going to go make what I can out of this. And he got a scholarship to play football. Yes. And that right there to me was like, yo, this is what we do. You know, forget everything, forget a promotion. And my motto at that job at the time was, yo, I don't care about credit for me. I don't want credit. But if you giving credit, give credit to the team or give credit to these kids. But everybody was like, oh, we started this program. You wasn't here. You was not here. I was there from the beginning. You were not there. So that always left a bad taste in my mouth when people said, yo, this is what we did and what we created. And then when behind closed doors, you hear them say, oh, yeah, I did this. And I felt that we should do this for the kids. And I'm sitting there going, that's a lie.
Right,
and
right.
Not to stray off, but I saw somebody said I was talking about other cops. I'm not talking about other cops. What I said was the bosses, not other cops, bosses. And this goes for any job, any place. People will try to take the credit off of the hardest working person in there. And they will take that credit. And that's what I meant when I was saying other people making XYZ amount of money. But on the front line, it was us. Because that program, Star of the Show, shout out to Star of the Show, my girl.
Star.
Yeah, like me and her basically sat down with each kid and had to teach them how to rap. Or not even how to rap, but just basically count bars. The simplest thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Like, you know, they didn't even know how to break a song together. So when we met LiteSkin, we was like, yo, he got it. We ain't got to say nothing to him. Let him do him with his team. We ain't got everybody want to tell LiteSkin. They like, yo, we gonna do this. And I remember somebody say, yo, we gonna teach them. Listen, that man got it. Hey, listen, it's his team. He got it. We ain't got to teach him nothing. He know it.
I really feel in something brewing here right now. Like,
I'm getting mad. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, there's something brewing.
Shirt's about to come off just because.
It's something that's coming off. Like, look, we just really gave prime examples. You know what I mean? Number one, like, Self-Suffice has a program that's very similar to what you're talking about. But at the same time, you're talking about a program that you've done and accomplished. So there's two programs that need to be talked about, and we need to be doing something about it because we just spoke about this on live, and we need to take off with this because they know that this is what's needed out there in the school. Us four right here all agree that every single time that we are in the schools doing what we do, connecting with them and meeting them where they are at, and letting them find themselves, you know, through what we present, that is, I mean, a valuable moment that is needed in school, you know, or in their life at these periods of time. So
let me pick up from what you're saying, because people do say that a lot when they hear about like the Obama Award, or they hear that we did this program, or when they hear that I worked with police on the program. They're like, why haven't I heard about this? You know what I mean? But it's almost similar to the hip hop thing when like you hosting and you doing different things, and then they finally hear you spit a verse, and they like, son got bars. It's like, why haven't I heard? So let's pull out 3 things that with us on this call right now, anybody who listening, and shout out to Lucy, our star, because she said there needs to be more nuanced conversations on this topic now. Yes. So let's pull out 3 things that us having these experiences could say. One, I want to say about hip hop. Okay, what hip hop is portrayed as, which has often been a code for Black people. In the masses, hip hop since it began has been a code word for Black people. So when they want to talk negative about Black people, they went from slaves to criminals, and then they went to rappers, right? But we all know they're projecting stereotypes of Black and Latino people when they say hip hop, right? Instead of just saying I'm racist. Say again.
Everybody else is a musician. When you gotta say they're musicians, but when it comes to hip hop, oh, he's a rapper.
Right. Or artists. Artists and musicians is for the others. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
What is hip hop being portrayed at? And we could argue about that, but we rarely can say, what is it actually doing? The majority of MCs that I know, B-boys and B-girls, yes, they're still out there. Graffiti artists, DJs to a lesser extent, because they still get so much money through other means. But the B-boys, the B-girls, the graffiti artists, the MCs, the majority of them that I know are either in schools, in mentorship programs, social work programs, giving speeches, nonprofits during school, after school programs. The majority of hip hop artists that I know, not just rappers, people that rap, but people that like do hip hop, they write about their thoughts, are in schools. That's what they actually doing. They're not on the Billboard charts. Let's talk about police in the same sense. Okay, we've seen models of police, and I gotta ask you a couple questions, brother. We've seen models of police where it's like, I'm a cop, this is my authority. Like my cousin was on camera a couple weeks ago on the Elliot. Shout out to D City. A cop with, it was one of them things where the cops had all the other cops behind him, and he was acting all broad, like he started being threatening. And my cousin just put on the camera, he said, say that again. Say that again. You tough, right? And suddenly the dude didn't want. So we see this model a lot, that in certain neighborhoods and safer, wealthier neighborhoods, they don't see how some of these individuals act. And yes, when you are one of these individuals in a mob mentality and it's allowed to go unchecked, it's dangerous. But we have seen, and this is where it comes to question. I need y'all to stay with me because this is real and y'all never hear about it. Just like you don't hear about the hip hop artists in schools every day, in social work every day. You don't hear about some of the programs, including PAL, but beyond PAL, including when they talk about defunding the police. This is what they're actually talking about. Well, we've seen programs where police are doing positive things, at least some programs and some police, like SHICE is talking about, like LiteSkin. I looked on
But
YouTube.
you know what, Show? So real quick too, and I think it's very important because I know SHICE has kind of brought it up a couple of times and people in the comments. Here's my disclaimer. Again, we're not talking about, when we say police and when we say cops and when we say, oh, the negative vibes, it's not, understand. This is not, just as every Black and Latino youth that lives in New York City is not a rotten apple. Understand when we say, when you get these things and these stigmas, it's only because they're allowed. So cops and schools, right? Police in schools. Yes, I get the destructive thought mentality that comes with it. But we're proving to you with the story. Here's an officer that was working as an agent for the Board of Ed. I was a counselor working with youth. With all the regards of everything that went on, we created something perfect and beautiful for the youth to say, oh, snap, not every cop is bad. So that people, when we put these videos out there, when we put the video out, they said, oh, snap, not every Black and Latino child from the city is negative, because the track was positive.
Absolutely.
So with all that being said, that we got to understand the strength of the power in that. So
here's my question.
Yeah, wait, can I
The
just say something before you say something yourself?
Go ahead.
One thing is, and I know it don't seem like it because it's publicized a lot, the negativity with police. But that is, I swear to you, and I know from watching reports, that is probably 1 to 5% of the department. A very small few, but it just happens to be publicized a lot more. Like, again, you will see a cop do something negative and it goes up instantly. There was a guy who did hugs, who was giving out hugs, and he went viral. We were doing that already before him. I have a t-shirt downstairs that I created. Every t-shirt that was made for my Squares Rhythm, I designed all the t-shirts that was given. I designed the plaques. That's what I did on my computer.
Bro, you bringing me to my question. That's all I needed to know. Now I'm gonna ask you this question even more. And I know Lucy got the same question.
Go ahead.
I've been doing this. I've been doing different programs with police.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even ask you this because I know the answer. Did you ever feel like you was going against your supervisor's recommendations to do this? Did you ever feel like you had to check yourself and be like, wait, how much of this is my own ingenuity, my own empathy for children, and my own taking a risk to do what needs to be done with my authority anyway? And I'll say one thing, because I know I'm loading the question, so let me just load it all the way. I've gone back and interviewed some of the brothers that I've worked with in the past. you know, and predominantly Black and Latino brothers. And I've said, bro, no, let me go back. So I've asked the questions in general. Can we use police in schools? Can it be positive? The whole thing we saying now, but on SoundMinds Sunday, we go a little deeper. So this is what we know it could be positive, but I've gone back and asked these same brothers who are still in the badge. Some of them talking about leaving the force. Some of them talking about joining a different force, right? And I've said, do you believe that cops can come from other neighborhoods or not have any connection to community and do the great job? Because I always see it's Black and Latino cops, also white cops that grew up in the inner city as well, because it's not just about the skin color, but it's about that connection, feeling like that's community. And they have always agreed, like, to be honest with you, I do notice that the cops that don't feel like they have a connection in the community. So I want to ask you that for real. Is it that cops are doing this thing on a whole, or is it that some individuals, just like any job, can make it better, but then these other people that have guns on them, when they don't make it better, that's dangerous.
Right, but here's what I say about that, right? Again, that's only a small portion. Like, I can tell you no lie, I know hundreds of cops, and the reason why I can say that is because my unit wasn't based in one area. I did every borough. Any major thing that happened, I was responding to that event, and I was with a team who knew, like, yo, this is what we got to do. When there was a stabbing in the Bronx, I hope you guys remember it. It was a stabbing in the Bronx where a kid was stabbed in a classroom. Mm-hmm. We were there 3 months after that stabbing and stayed in that school every day. I would start my tour in Queens, and we would go to that school for 3 months, and we gave them lectures. We gave them talks. We just sat and listened. No talking. You tell us what's going on. We took those kids to an old folks senior home, a senior citizens home, and we did Thanksgiving. Then we did Christmas. We sat there with those kids, and they had a ball with the senior citizens, right? But that never got publicized. But that same incident, I was on TV. They tried to catch me trying to stop somebody from bum rushing and saying that I was trying to hold people from getting into the school. No, it's a crime scene. Yeah, but you're gonna publicize that, but you didn't publicize that we took those kids for 3 months and did things with them. We took those kids to eat. We took them to dinners. We took them to places. We made them get dressed. Hey, everybody get dressed. We going out to dinner and on our dime. Not the police department. But back to your question.
No, that's so part, because I remember they put me on World Star. Not for the series of
but it sounds more individual.
But for the one moment where I was grabbing somebody off the stage for like one moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what it is. That one moment is what they try to use. But again, and people might hate that I'm gonna say this. Shout out to the NYPD, because there are 95% of the department is not bad. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it is the ones that don't understand. Like, again, and I always refer to the incident that happened in Pink Houses where a young man was shot and killed in a staircase, right? Mm-hmm. The reason I always bring that up is when you got somebody who not from your neighborhood, who don't understand, who's never heard a project door slam. Right. You don't understand what's happening. Do I think that cop was bad? No, but I think he was in a place where he did not understand. You understand?
You answered my question, and the question a lot of people have, and you went better. Here we go. Is it really about being bad and good? Because from your statement, it really ain't about being bad and good. It's about having a connection and understanding of what's happening in that community.
Being properly trained.
It's like me and my people, we can have days where I'm the bad guy, right? Or my friend's the bad guy. Like, there's different days where anybody I'm cool with will let you know. I have days where I'm the bad guy. I have days where I'm the good guy and I'm balancing you out, right?
Right.
But we understand each other.
Right.
We're not canceling each other. It's no cancel culture. So do you think that's where the conversation needs to go to, bro? Like,
it's more of an understanding thing, right? You do need to understand. Here's the thing. People fear what they don't know. You know, so when you walk into a place and you feel like you have to assert yourself as the authority before anybody else can say they're the authority, that means you don't understand, because you coming in with a defense already. And sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes it's just, hey, I've walked into plenty of places, and because of my uniform, it gets quiet. They look at me different. But soon as I open my mouth, I be like, oh, so I got on a monkey suit. You don't want to give me a 5. So then they go, what? And I go, yeah, I'm from the hood. Then they go, where you from? I'm from Brownsville. I'm from Christopher and Pickett Avenue. Like, come check me. I'm right there on the block. Right? They go, word. Now you don't see my uniform. I've never been a person, and I can say this for the team that I work with. They've never been the people behind a badge. You know what I'm saying? They were people first, and they just happened to have shields. And we had a common ground. Our job was, yo, let's make this different. This is why we became what we are. We didn't come in here.
It sounds like you're an exception. And just like I said, I've had the same experience in Hartford and the LES. It sounds like the cats that do policing and make you feel like, yo, that officer, Mr. So-and-so, when I go on the block, I feel safe and he looks out. It sounds like when I was young and I seen an officer like that, I didn't have prejudice against officers. You know what I mean? But it sounds like to a lot of people, those guys and girls are the exceptions. We was doing a Black Lives Matter mural a couple weeks ago, and this dude walked up to some black girls paint and said, I'm a spray paint over your thing. I'm gonna put vote Trump 2020 as soon as you walk up. Da-da-da. He walked up to the cop car. You doing this with my tax money? It wasn't tax money. Salute to Rashaman on the Diversity Arts Council helping us get funding. He said, this is what you doing? The black woman officer got out the tinted car and escorted him off the premises. You feel me? Right. His eyes was like dead. But it sounds like you're saying you didn't see a badge when I talk. When you see my humor, this and that. But why are we saying you didn't see a badge? Why are we saying I'm not just a cop? Can we get to a point where we're saying I am this badge or this guardian or this, whatever the job is? Why can't we get to a part where it matches with our expectations and we trust whoever's looking out for us that much, you know?
But let's look at it like anything, any job. If you go to any job, you don't trust everybody you work with. It's just what it is. You understand? And that comes with who you dealing with. Like, I didn't know George from a hole in the wall, but the day I talked to him, I was like, yo, that's my guy. Yeah. Like, and from there, we built a relationship. It was like, yo, G, I need to talk to you. Yo, I want to do a studio session with the kids. First of all, let me put that out there. The department did not pay for a studio session. They did not. I called a friend to do a favor and said, yo, I need these guys to do a track. And then we took it a step further. We sat down at the boss's office in one police plaza and said, yo, we got a track. Can we make a video? Now, is
this the one I saw?
I was going to take my cell phone and shoot a video.
And we actually did, though, because the spoken word, Anthony. Yep.
Because at first they were so against it. But I said, if you stop it that way, I'll do it unofficially. I will. And that's just who I was. I'm not a defiant person, but I'm passionate. And even with the lesson plan, we spoke on drugs. It was a lesson plan. Now, part of my duties was to create the lesson plan. I mean, not the lesson plan. Somebody wrote the lesson plan, but I jazzed it. I made it to what kids would probably listen to, right? So I would add, I'm a music person. I'm visual. You have to show me. Don't talk to me till I'm blue in the face. Show me. So my thing was, yo, let's put music in it. And I tell you no lie, there was a sergeant who told me, no, you are not putting music in it. But then this is what he did. He said, you know what? I'm going to let you burn yourself. He thought I was going to lose. I'm going to let you burn yourself. We sat down with a board of ed group of counselors. They were like Spark counselors and stuff like that. And they had a group of kids from each school, and they came to this site. I presented the presentation, and they gave out the forms. It said, please tell us what you thought was the best part of it. Number one answer, hands down, the music caught me. Because I opened it off. When we started doing prescription drugs, the way I started, I won't start. I say, hey, sit down, have a seat. I didn't even tell you my name yet. You walked in the classroom. I said, yo, how many people? They like, he said, yo. Yeah, I said, yo, I'm from the hood. I can't speak like this, sir. I'm not that proper. I say yo, I say damn, I say ass and everything. I say a whole lot of things. But I sat there and I said, yo, sit down. And if by the end of this, if you don't want to be here, you have the option to walk out the door. The teacher looked at me and said, did you just tell a nigga walk out the door? I said, absolutely, because I don't want nobody in here who don't want to be here. They looked and was like, what? He talking to a teacher. Listen, it is what it is. After that, I played Lil Wayne, and French Montana, all of those things. What was the song Rick Ross made about the rape? It kind of talked about the rape or whatever.
Oh yeah, that beat was
Yeah.
fire. It was like you ain't know something.
Right, but look at all of the songs. Right at the time, French Montana was popping. That song, what was that song? Pop That or something?
That thing.
Mhm.
Everything had prescription drugs in it, but nobody knew it. I played it, and they was in the classroom like this. Forget what they was listening to. They was So I was like, all right, music over. I said, tell me what you heard. Plain and simple. That started the conversation. Then I go, nobody heard them say anything about prescription drugs. Then it went to Amy Winehouse, right? My biggest thing, and I'm no lie, Amy Winehouse, I played her song Rehab. And I asked them, I said, everybody listen to it and tell
Try to
me.
make me go to rehab.
So my
Her whole album, that whole album was about drugs and being drunk.
yes. So my question to them was this: what did she say? How did Amy Winehouse go to rehab? They say no. I go, she did for 17 days. She tells you, I don't have 17 days to waste. Then they started looking like, what? She did? Then I go, she made a reference, I'd rather be at home with Ray. They go, I say, who's Ray? They like, Ray's her drug dealer. Ray's this. I said, no. She talking about Ray Charles. Ray Charles had a drug addiction. Nobody don't remember that? Then they go, oh, they start putting two together. She'd rather be dead at home, or she'd rather be dead with Ray than to give up drugs. She said that. Then they like, oh my God. And now everybody's clicking. So now personal opinions want to come out, which is good. Now tell me what you hear. Yeah, but I think that's all we need. Conversation. And now the kids are running.
And that's how you do it. But you just got a professional development. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get at here. There's exceptional individuals who use hip hop and who use the authority of policing to actually give, in an ideal world, what you would want you to get from hip hop artists and from police. My thing is, and I want to be wrong on this. I really want to be wrong. Please tell me. I can't pick a better group of people to check me, and y'all in the comments if I'm wrong. My thing is, I don't think these radio stations, for the most part, the most popular radio stations, which I love and listen to for entertainment, but when it comes to this, I think they're dropping the ball. I don't think these police departments on a larger level are looking at people like SHICE, looking at programs like the rap poetry program that I run, looking at hundreds of officers and hundreds of MCs that are in different nonprofits and schools, and saying, you know what, instead of arguing about how police should do this and what should police do and what's negative in the music and this and that, highlight these individuals in your community that's making you look good. And I am frustrated because I feel like these police departments is so hierarchical sometimes that they don't realize going to SHICE, Sean Carter, an individual that's making y'all look good. Why not show him, send his videos to different departments and be like, this is an example of what y'all could do. Why don't more DJs and radio stations, when they see what artists like myself, what Wordsworth, what Light is doing, what Rashaman's doing, because he's being humble, he's been in the schools with me. There's so many of us. Why don't you showcase them when people is arguing about how negative hip hop is and police? Why don't you showcase these people? Because you know they're there. You might not be interested because you're not doing it this way, but you know we're there. Why not just put the camera on us and show an alternative? I don't feel like they're doing that, and I do feel like they have the opportunity to. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you 100%. I'm gonna say my fault, Shice, for cutting you off. I'm gonna be real with you, and it's funny too because a lot of times, like I said, stigmas. As we can sit here and say that there's not positive police or a positive light shined on police, especially in regards to like the inner city, right? So is the case with a lot of nonprofits. A lot of times, a lot of people in social service, and this is a field I've been in for 27 years now going. But I know, for instance, even, and this is not a bitter comment, but even with the work that I did and Shice seen it firsthand and you know, Self has seen it since we were young, stuff that I've done and everything that I did with those kids, with other kids and all that was not enough. I ran a group, and I'm gonna be real. Shout out to and you'll see the shirts. Shout out to my Building Better Men, who I love, miss, and all that. With all the positive work that I was doing, it wasn't enough for people to make moves on me, because when you don't fall in line and you don't, and you know, part of my language, but when you don't kiss ass and you don't fall in line of whoever is running, because it's not, a lot of times those people making decisions is really not about the youth and community. It's really about self-serving preservation, and not only that, but that selfishness of, nah, I gotta shine. So yeah, I lived through the title of whatever it is, but truth of the matter is, and I went through that in multiple facets. I went through that in that job where I met Shice. I went through that with the last job I had, you know, Boys Club, where when I was trying to bring in positive light of how to own a house and how to do this, that, and the third, boxing, literacy, all types of programs. And because they were selling the building, they didn't want that. So I think it's unfair, and a lot of times, and it's funny probably coming from me, because people who know me will sit there and be like, yo, you defending police? Yes, I'm defending all those who bring forth positivity, despite the fact that there is a negative undertone, but not by individuals, by the system. So you might be right. Maybe Shice is, he's an anomaly in the sense of the fact that what he's doing is different based off of other police. But like he said, 5% of police is probably the negative ones. Now it's important for the other 95% to sit there and be like, yo, that 5%, we got to get rid of y'all. Just as with teachers, just as with pedophile priests, just as with a whole bunch of slew of fields in which there is negativity. So what I will say is, it's discussions like this where you're right, where we can sit there and be like, yo, you know what, man, we noticed that this, that, and the third, just like you said, the radio stations ain't doing that because negativity sells. So if you think about all those that own the record labels and the radio stations, they don't want us to shine, not in a positive light. They would never want us to shine in a positive light, because it breaks the system's code. You know what I'm saying? That's when you start getting into the matrix, and that's when you start reading those numbers and signs that were going up, and you're like, yo, I can read that now. My third eye is open. Y'all don't want this. You know what I'm saying? So I have to say that.
But I will say that, and I would love to shout out Chief Harrison and Chief Madry. Those are two big bosses that I know for sure that have the people's heart and safety at mind. I've worked alongside these guys. So when you say bosses, those bosses right there kept me to shine, right? And a person like Chief Harrison, and he used to call and say, yo, I need you to come and talk to these kids in Manhattan, and I need you. And I was like, boss, you know I got a boss too. You got to call over here. And he did. You understand? But
he went out of his way.
Yeah, and I like I said, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of people that will do it. And I always look at it like this, and I never defend the wrong. My thing is, it's just like your children. You understand? You're gonna have children. You could teach your children till you blue in the face. But if they do something negative, you know, it makes you look bad as a parent. And people go, well, what happened to his parent? Listen, how many priest kids are in jail? How many cop kids are in jail? You understand? I'll be honest with you. The method that I use in schools, I don't use on my kids because it don't work.
It's not going to work on your kids.
They don't see me as these guys, you know, they see me as dad. And they don't want to be
all the parents know.
You understand? But these other kids who don't have parents or who have bad parents or who just, listen, and another story in my life. I remember I used to send a kid out. He used to sit in at 3:30 I get off work, or I used to get off when I was inside the schools before I went to my unit, and I used to kick kids out. Hey, you gotta go, get out. 3:30, I gotta go home. You know, I don't want to be late. I want to go home. Right. And this one kid every day irked my nerve because he would not leave. But the most humbling experience I had thus far, when I realized that I almost sent this kid to a park every day where gang members was, that tore, excuse my expression, a new asshole to me. I felt so bad after that I understood why. He didn't get in trouble. He wasn't a bad kid. He just pissed me off because I wanted him to leave at 3:30. And I had to humble myself and catch and then start telling people, yo, we got to be mindful of what's happening. I almost pushed this kid outside to get robbed and maybe killed in a park that he could only walk through to go home. And
even just normalized it. However it was dealt with, you got a mentor sending you into this saying it's okay for you to be here.
Right.
As opposed to saying, oh, this is wrong, something's wrong. And you don't have to have the solution, but again, it's caring, you know.
Yo, we push, and this is the illest thing. We always think we are, as a people, so much in a rush. But 2 seconds or 2 minutes really doesn't make a difference in your life as far as what you're getting ready to go to. So when I looked at it and he stayed 5 extra minutes, that 5 minutes I was getting dressed anyway.
Right.
I was still there. And then God forbid if somebody I knew was there, I start running my mouth. So me trying to rush out at 3:30, I never left until 4 o'clock anyway.
Right.
And I had to say, yo, I rushed this kid. And sometimes kids want to talk and we go, I can't talk now. I'm in a rush. Wow. 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
That's so crazy, bro, Star, because like I'm realizing as you saying it, the way this kid goes and gets back to his neighborhood or his environment says everything. It's like how you end and start a conversation, a book, a movie is so important. Just him knowing that he's scared and he's getting rushed out, that's one way to go in, and that's going to affect his decision making. But him knowing that there's an older dude that stays a little while, has that conversation on the way, he's less susceptible to feel like I'm all by myself and maybe make a bad decision once he gets in that scary place. Just because of the way he was let go, the way we dismiss our youth and our children.
Right. And the thing is, he wasn't going to tell. And that's the thing. The code of the streets, you better not say nothing. He wasn't going to tell on them. So he took every day that I yelled at him to get out. He took it. But, and he was like, he was ready to get in trouble by me than to go out in that street. And I'm sitting there going, and God forgive me, because I was like, you little asshole. I'm in my head going, this little asshole. I can't wait. Oh, I hope he get. And when I realized, and I go, yo, wait a minute. If he would have got hurt, you know how bad I would have felt? And I asked him, I said, yo, why didn't you just tell me? He said, what am I going to say? I can't talk to you. And that's the problem, right? They feel like they can't talk to us. And I'm not just talking about people in uniform. They can't talk to the teachers. They can't talk to nobody because nobody wants
to have the same policies.
Nobody wants to understand. The NYPD had a policy about fraternizing, right? No hugging, no nothing. And I live by that. I'm not hugging nobody for no reason. But I'll be damned if there's a girl crying and she's hurt, that I won't hug her if she hugs me back. I'm gonna let her know I got your back. I'm here because if nobody don't tell you today that they got your back, you got a friend in me right now. And that was the biggest thing with kids. Like the kids, even at I don't want to say school, but
Smith. I'll say it. Smith, Alfred E. Smith.
Right. We had a battle the day of a big event where they didn't want one of the kids to perform. And I was like, well, why not? Why not? It don't cost us nothing. And he's going to perform at the Barclays Center right now. Right. In front of his peers. Why not? It's what, 3 minutes? 3 minutes. We can make this, can make or break this kid. 3 minutes. And they fought. No. Yo, God was on my side that day. The more they told me no, and I was like, yo, and I kept arguing, and I'm like, but I don't want to be defiant, right? And somehow, some way, his part came up, and he performed. I said, thank you, Jesus. Like, you, and I couldn't understand why.
Yeah, his piece came off. Yeah, and you know what's crazy is that, shout out to my little brother too, man. I love that kid so much, man. I still check on him. During that time too, a decision was being made, and this is what goes back to what I was saying in regards to, it doesn't matter, you social service, police officer, fireman, teacher. A decision was being made to cut something short just so that credit could be given to people that had nothing to do with it, without understanding that this kid, his whole month and year was going so crazy. So what he did, his contribution to this program and his contribution to this victory was so imperative to what was going on in his life, because that was the only positivity that he had. But the mind frame wasn't there to think about that. It was just more so, yo, let's just X that out. We don't need him here, because truth of the matter is that's just going to be waste, and it doesn't give me the credit that I deserve, and but that is very important, especially I always said this, man. Every millisecond of our lives when we're dealing with youth, that is an important mountain that is going up. It is an important plateau of life that can change them for the rest of their lives, destroy them, or create them to become a better person. And I think it's very important when people don't see that and they don't foresee what their decision making can do to that, not only just one, but in general, the masses of our youth. You know what I mean? So,
and sorry, but that goes to the video. We got the police department to make their first rap video ever with that school. And then it was like, yo, some people didn't want Ant to get his part off. It was all about the song. But I was like, the song and the poetry is a part of the contribution to everything. We cannot we put them as a group. He's a part of the group. Do not separate the group. If we separate him now, we separate we divide them already. And now again, we had to go. We had a decision to make. Do the song, because without the poetry, and leave it at that and just let these kids shine. But then my thing was, what happens to that one kid though? He might be the one who needed the most. So what did we do? Good old iPhone. Come on out. I went like, yo, I'm coming to the school. Don't tell nobody. We shot a video, and we made a video for him. And I loved every minute of it. And I say that to say this. Even when we talk in border ed, with all of these different schools in one school, we teach separation. Right? And I always felt like that, because again, another message, gems, drop gems. I need to throw some gems at me, goddamn. Get some diamonds. Damn, I'm throwing some diamonds out here. So I heard a kid say he went to another part of the school.
You got so many good sound bites, bro. Look at his eyebrows. He visualized.
I'm dropping gems on these bitches. Come on. I'm dropping gems, goddamn. But the kid said the kid was on the like second floor, third floor, whatever floor he was on. It wasn't his school. And the security said, "Yo, listen, you don't belong here." And then another principal.
You saying this is one of them buildings where they split up the kids?
Yeah, it was split up into four to five schools.
So
right. So the kid said, the principal from one school said, "Hey, you don't belong here." And this is the realest shit. The kid said, "I don't give a fuck. Like my teacher, my principal don't fuck with you anyway." Yo, when I heard that,
yeah, I remember that.
Look at some face.
I remember that.
Exactly how my face turned. I heard that. I said, "Damn." The first thing I can say is, "Damn, if they see that the principals don't get along, how the hell you gonna control your building? You
right.
The thing, you only got one floor to control. You can control one floor, but the kids realize if the principals ain't getting along, we don't got to get along neither." And we already defeated. So I was like, "Yo, we got to do something about this." And that's why that program we built was like, it wasn't one principal. We had to get all of them. If the school as a whole wouldn't accept it, we wouldn't take it. Because again, if I take 10 from this school, 10 from that school, 10 from this school in one building, we got to show these kids that they could be together and sit and talk and have a conversation. It was kids who didn't never even speak to each other who said, "Yo, I'm good. That's my man right now." We built relationships. We built friendships. You understand? We built young kings and queens to learn to live with each other.
You reminded me of this past year before the pandemic. One of the last gigs we did in the schools, it was one of the ones where the schools were split up. And you know how it is getting equipment. Anybody who does stuff in schools, you just go ahead and try to get your own equipment and go into schools because you know you're gonna ask for this and it's gonna be broken. There's gonna be politics, and the day of they're gonna act like you never asked. But I was working with one group and they was having a concert, and I said to the other teacher, "Oh, that's the other school. They the ones that got access to the stage and the mics, and I don't know if we could use that." And I understood.
Right.
I understood. I used to be in schools for the kids. I'm not in schools for the kids anymore. Full disclosure, I'm in there for the adults that love and care for the kids, but they dealing with so much bureaucracy and politics with other adults that they can't just love and serve the kids, right? So she said that. I said, "Good, I understand." I went to the other person because I had already done a program with them a couple weeks before, so I knew them too. So I went to them. I said, "This and that, we have access. By the way, do you know this person?" "Nah, I never knew this person." I said, "You've been in school. You've been in the same building with them for over a year now. They're really cool, man. You mind if I connect you?" They're like, "Yeah, I don't mind." Which shows you off the bat they wasn't opposed to it. They just was so caught in the bureaucracy and not trying to like. It's almost like gang cliques. Like you don't want to be the first person to reach out, and your team of teachers don't rock with them. You get what I'm saying? So I had to like be the facilitator to make a truth.
They gangbanging with pencils, man.
Yeah.
Teachers live in that culture, right? So boom, I make the introductions, you know what I'm saying, between these gangster teacher cliques. Next thing you know, they texting each other, they getting along. "Oh, she's such a cool person. She's such a cool person." I say, "Could we invite them?" They invited their class because the residency that they had booked me, they couldn't afford, even though they was the ones with the access to the stage, they couldn't afford to get me to do the concert at the end of their residency. The ones who didn't have access, right? They was the ones who could afford it. So I said, "Yo, she's helping you with the stage and the equipment. Would you mind if she brought her group?" She said, "Definitely." So now we got two different groups at the same residency facilitating it, purely not off of the bureaucracy, not off of the paperwork, not even what they was told to do, but off of what you said, bro. Off of us, let's show these kids how adults work together and make decisions. If you teaching young people how to use their mind in school, you got to show that. Don't just show them you got the answer key. Show them you apply the answers. And that's why I know we got to move on from the segment, but I wanted to pull out 2 gems that I got from this, okay?
Yeah, no, it's necessary. It's necessary.
So much, bro. Like, 2 gems. 1 gem is simply this. Be clear. Nobody on here is a hater. That should be apparent. So I'm not gonna dwell. Nobody in here is a hater. We don't hate cops. We don't hate police. We don't hate kids. We don't hate ourselves. We love ourselves. We love our brothers, our sisters, our constellation. We spread that love to everybody. So therefore, what we're saying is we have a problem with police departments and supervisors and organizations, because there's organizations of police too that aren't departments, right? We have a problem with organizations and supervisors who do not showcase excellent examples of police.
Facts.
If we hated police, we would not be talking about these examples more than some of y'all are and saying we're proud of y'all. We hate those organizations, those departments who do not find and show these examples.
But we also
dismiss them. You make them feel like they're the weirdos. Just show them.
Yes.
Show them so we could be on your side and we could support you better.
And we also got to look at media, right? Media is so quick to show negative.
And that's the hip hop side of it.
Right.
We don't hate hip hop. We do hip hop. But if you a media mogul in hip hop, showcase what cats like us are doing so we could make what you look okay. You're an arm of the hip hop culture. We don't hate on y'all no matter what you do. Whether you're in a strip club, billboard, whatever, contractually narrow-minded, because we know we got lots of friends in the industry who it's hard for them. They got to focus on one niche. We show love to y'all. We show, just like my brother right here said, we go in classes, we play your lyrics that people think is just funny but dumb, and we point out that you saying a deep message. That's what we do. So showcase the positive examples of hip hop being used in schools and the nonprofits. Show the positive examples of police officers and nonprofits and paraprofessionals and essential workers who are doing things that people don't see. We're not hating on police or rappers or teachers or any of that. We're saying those who are higher ups in those organizations, why are you not highlighting these examples? And we two podcasters, so we starting with ourselves right now, baby. We could have talked about anything today.
What happened was
to to show and prove.
What just happened really was that, you spoke on examples, living examples between the 4 of us, literally the 4 of us, living examples. But then we talked about the solution within those problems that we actually live through, right? And embodied. Now, if you really paid attention to what just happened, I really sat back and listened. I had my junk on mute.
You sure did. I thought you wasn't mute for a second. He was playing the Matrix. He was disappearing and coming back.
You know what I'm saying? I'm listening. I'm just listening. But yeah, you're right. I'm in the 3rd and the 5th. I'm listening. So listen, I went through the beginning, the middle, and the end, and the now and moving forward of where I'm going, right? So you talked about the problem and then finding a solution within the problem and experiencing that. And now you have platforms being built because we have to show these examples. We have to highlight these examples ourselves now, because a problem of what we experience, of solving problems that we live through in the schools, were not highlighted on mainstream platforms to actually give us a platform to showcase the true benefit of why it's necessary and needed in today's society and schools. For us to have us in these schools, in these positions, us running these programs, us doing this with the youth, right? So now you have what we didn't get to get into, and because we spoke about that, it was a huge issue because we're talking about police and cops and schools and education. Like, that's something very passionate to all of us right now. But think about it. We are on our own platform and we're talking about this. If we were on a mainstream platform, we could not say what we wanted to say the way we are saying it right now. But we're highlighting the true examples of what we've lived through, you know, through this podcast. And that's what I want to truly highlight of what have been spoken, and then to move forward on what has been created. We have now the Let's Talk CraZee podcast. You have him being a host. And now, I mean, your video content is epic. Is literally in the same lane of what YouTube and social media looks like. So I don't know if you're doing that editing yourself is what I want to get into, how you're creating your content, all of that. Like, hold up, and then we gonna get into the TikTok. Like, you even into TikTok, and you doing TikTok videos. Like, we done went up how many levels right now?
Yeah, they give it my brother SHICE is the TikTok Titan, B.
We going up levels. It's levels to this. It's levels to this.
Speaking of which, let me say something more comfortable.
It's levels to this. Exactly.
You gotta wait under your yellow too. You killing me.
I give it to you, Rod. The way you put that all into one statement was phenomenal.
Now, you know what he was doing? He was like this. He
was disappearing. He was like, "Well, listen,
he was like, okay, go back in the past now. I have seen it."
But the funny thing is, I do my own editing when I need.
Wait. I'm sorry. I gotta make one disclaimer before we go on, because we all gonna move in. Thank y'all for bearing with us. We got really deep. We got heavy. This is all real. This is much needed conversation. Thank you for Lucy for egging us on and letting us know that it was okay to go on the topic. The last thing I want to say, we are in solidarity with those who have been victims of police violence, for those who have been victims of teacher and principal shaming and violence, and religious leaders violence, whether it was an imam, a rabbi, a preacher, any other religion, any other cult. We're in solidarity with you. And one thing to point out is that when we talk about 1 to 5% or one bad apple, when it's a group of kids, that's one thing. But when it's a preacher who you're not sure if you're going to heaven or hell and that person's touching you inappropriately, when it's a teacher, when you're not sure if they're recommending you to be in a safe place or be held back for another year, when it's a police officer and them being mad at you means you might die because they have a license to kill and you don't, we recognize that that's different. It's not okay to even have 1% in these categories. So before we go on, we want to make sure on some sound minds, it's a real issue. It's a real issue. The more power you have to over someone's authority, that you trust their mind with your sexual health.
Most def, we got to give sound minds to that. Sound
minds.
It's a difference between just having an interaction with anybody.
So hold up. At the same time, sound minds to that. And at the same time, I'm gonna put this on top of that nice sandwich.
Go ahead.
If you are staying silent behind the fact that you know things are happening that are hurting the youth, that are hurting anybody, and it's creating victims, and you staying silent to it, you can go and tell your parents and your mother and whoever else, LiteSkin said you a sucker, straight up. So with all that being said, because if you sitting back and watching things and you sitting there and collecting a check behind certain people, now granted, I get we got to take care of our families, but when you're silent and your mouth is mute, you know what's going on, and you stay shut just for your name being on a check, I can't respect you. And I've said this plenty of times before. So if you feel a certain way and you feel like this is directed to you and this bullet hit you by mistake, it wasn't a mistake. Call me, let's talk. I'm with it. But at the same time, if you continue the actions after being said this, then you less than a man, less than a woman than you could ever imagine yourself to be. Again, my joint on Facebook is me looking in the mirror. There's plenty of people that can't do that. So I say that to say, speak up. Because when you are supposed to be the guardians of the youth and supposed to be the guardians of the victimized, and you're not doing that, you a sucker, straight up.
So you're not gonna warm up or nothing. You just gonna go right into that. You're not gonna warm up, not ease it in.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I lost myself.
We flow with tones. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? The tone was set for that. You know what I mean?
SoundMinds.
To that. But yes,
SoundMinds.
go ahead, man. Get into
go ahead.
it, man.
My fault.
We need to definitely know, what's happening now, with our brother SHICE. Like you said, you do if you edit yourself 100%, man. I need to, I gotta definitely salute you for that if you're doing your editing yourself. And everything else, you carry a lot of energy on your social media, which I really want to shout out you too. So tell us about that.
So as far as me editing, I just got tired of waiting for people, and when you get tired, when you know the saying, you get sick and tired. When you get tired of being sick and tired, so I got tired. So I just learned it. My man SHICE Media started teaching me the game a little bit, pieces here and there. And he was like, yo, I'm doing this, so I can't always do. So that was the realest thing. So he gave me the tools that I needed. I learned, and I do everything. I'm my own engineer. I'm my own cameraman. I'm my own. I'm a one-man band, and I'm not afraid to say that. Like, before, I was so dependent on people. And it bothered me and it hurt. And I felt like it hurt my business. So now if I feel like I want some content out, I'm going to put my content out, do it my way. It may not always be the best. Listen, I'm human, but I'm going to get what I need out and I'll learn from my experience,
Fire. So
is that a
SHICE,
challenge in terms of your time? Like the time spent, there's a time spent on doing something well. There's a time spent on learning something that you don't know well. Is that a challenge in balancing off when you are doing so many things yourself?
That's a great question. That's a great question because you're talking to not only we were just talking about self-suffice this week about his balance and challenge.
I'm just saying I'm asking for a friend.
And on top of that, he said he asking personally, like, what up? I'm asking personally too because I also do all of my own editing. I do all of my own engineering. I do all of my producing right here in the studio. So talk to me like the time frame, the time schedule, like talk to us about that because that is a gem in itself because you do a great job in your production.
Thank you. It is challenging because it's so many. I feel like I got ADHD when it comes to hustling for entertainment, right? I don't know how to just do one thing. If I go to sleep and wake up and I got an idea, I'm like, yo, I got to do this idea. But on my computer, I already got one idea that I'm working on. I can't just diss it and move it to the side.
Hold on. So one thing, he acknowledges that's a thing and he puts it as a positive asset.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that.
Right.
And he makes it a positive asset. Okay, go ahead.
So when is it hard to balance? Absolutely, especially when you got kids and you got a wife and you got family and you got to have time for them just like you have time for hair. So a lot of times when it comes to my editing, I rather do it at night. If I have to do a show, I do my show. But other times I'm a homebody. Like, I love my home. My home is my sanity. Like, people go, yo, you don't drink, you don't smoke. Nah, but I am like, when I'm in the element, I'm in the element.
Yes. And
I learned how to separate that.
The things people drink and smoke for, you already there, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You got it naturally. You got that naturally, right?
Let me tell you,
already wired up. Like,
if your face was on a bottle, that's what they would be drinking.
My choice of drug.
Roll up that SHICE crazy, Sean.
my choice of drug is Pepsi.
There you go. Oh man, he gets sugar rush.
That's it. But like I said, it's really hard because again, I started Let's Talk CraZee with a friend who wanted to do some content. And the funny
But I just want to acknowledge one thing you said. You set up your home as a place. Another thing besides doing your gigs and learning new gigs is having the equipment to do. People don't realize it takes a large amount of time if you're a painter to set up the easel or to set up the kitchen. So what he's saying now is he acknowledges this need to do constant things. He's going to use that in a positive way instead of feeling negative about it. That's just a waste of time. Also, he's setting up his environment so he can go and edit when he needs to. He doesn't have to go and set it up from scratch every time.
Listen,
Right.
you want to? I'm gonna hit you out with a gem real quick. Lights like this, a little light. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's, I've learned to bargain shop, right? And how to try to do. And I learned this from my man. He was like, "Yo, you don't need $1 million worth of equipment. You just need the right look. And if cheap things can give you the right look, listen, Vista Print, get you a banner, put it over my window. There go I cut the light out. It uses two purposes. It cuts the light out where I can now add color to my room and get me a little mic webcam, and I'm straight.
That was a window back there?
The thing is, see, you look, it encloses the section. It creates that sanctuary.
He's pouring gems on your scalp right now.
I ain't scared to show my flaws. I listen. And look, then you go in there, and then I put a sticker on my wall.
Boom.
Like,
woo.
So when I got people sitting and I got my camera on this side, I got another webcam on the wall sitting over there.
Fire.
Listen, so when when I switch my stuff up, I'm just ready to do my thing. So
that's all about investment in self.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
In self.
If you don't invest in yourself, nobody else is.
Right.
I feel like I am the greatest host unknown.
Ooh.
You understand? And I look like that. Like my target, people always go, "Yo, what's your motivation?" I'll be honest with you, Steve Harvey. He is the dude I don't mean this in a negative way. I mean this in the most positive way. I am targeting Steve Harvey. Why? Because he knows how to do a show, a TV show, then go to a radio show, then do a regular. That's what I want. I want to be able to move comfortably and do what I do best, and that's talk on any platform.
Can I say before we even leave this platform now, man, I do see you there, my brother.
Right,
I see.
Definitely.
I do.
Appreciate that.
Your professionalism is there. Your energy when engaging with a host is there. Your listening skills is there. You feel me? You know what I mean? Like those things I'm measuring out. Like when you just look at the professional aspect of somebody, like I see you doing that. Like now, here's the thing of why I say I see you doing that.
They're saying 100 in the chat.
It's because
everybody sees you there.
I see you doing that. Is because when I see some of your stuff, it's like I already feel like you've been doing that. Like I kind of want to ask you about like, were you in the industry in the 90s and stuff like that? Like, you know, you feel like you just have
Steve
that.
Harvey would be proud to know he's part of your inspiration. Like if Steve Harvey was watching that, he'd be like, "Yo, I'm glad if I'm inspiring a brother to do like that."
Right, because again, like I said, I had a job and I loved my job. Let that be clear. I did not dislike my job. I loved every minute of my job, and it showed me who I wanted to be. Without my job and without my growth in my job, I don't feel like I would have extended myself further in this platform. You understand? Because the best audience is a young audience, because they don't hold no punches. They don't care which way you go. You understand? Right. At the end of the day, if you can win them over, you're going to win everybody over. Yep. And I was like, yo.
Remember we talked about that with Wordsworth? Nope. It was like, we had this conversation with Wordsworth. If you haven't rocked the classroom, you can't reach the height of rocking the audience.
Not at all.
You feeding off promotion and label interns. You ain't know nothing about crowd control till you know about classroom management.
And that's a fact. And people always go, I promise you, and I hope I ain't jinxing myself. I've never prepared for a show. And when I say prepare,
I prepared for a show once, and it was my worst show ever. Footnote.
Right. Me too. I'm the same. I'm the same way. Every time I prepare, it's my work. Like it's like my worst show.
Be the water.
You know what I'm
Bruce
saying?
Lee.
Like it. I have to come in and I go off vibe. Like you know, like even with the classes, I have an idea when I'm bringing to the course. Yes. I have an idea when I'm bringing to the program. You know what I'm saying? I know what we gonna be touching on, but how we start, middle, and end, that's
on the class.
That's on the class.
They say Jay Dilla was so nasty with the beats that he would make a fire beat in like 3 minutes. Like you trying to pay Dilla $20,000 for a beat, and he just spent 3 minutes and be done. Literally 3 minutes. He got everything in place, like we was talking about. It's already in place. You bring your touch to it, and it's done. But then what they said was, what you don't understand is you can't do that, because when he leaves making your beat for 3 minutes, he's doing nothing but making more beats all the time. That's why he can do it.
You know what it is? It's really the challenge of the rush. You know what I mean? Like we love to get challenged, and we love to kind of like, that's kind of like one of the things, man, when we did the SoundMinds shows, man, me and my partner Academics, we used to do like, and Self-Sue, we used to do 45 minutes, a whole set just off the head, just throw a beat and we just rock to it. You know what I mean? So, and it's all about the challenges. So with that being said, here's the hardest part of this episode, the challenging questions.
Let's go.
So let's get into this.
Bathroom, I'll be right back.
We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up in 10 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up in 10 minutes.
So
10 minutes.
Here we go. And this is all sports references, right? So this is kind of word association, thought association, right? Sports references. Pound for pound, every round, everything great, right? What was your best show, episode, or hosting event where everything went perfect?
Nothing never goes perfect.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Perfect. It's always, you go in with the mindset, like you said, what you want to do, but it's never perfect. But the object is not to show the people that it's not perfect. Right. It's always perfect in the
end,
audience eyes,
the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But it's never perfect. I've never been anywhere where it was like just like that. No.
So never. I'm glad you said that, because that was the easiest question. Right?
Oh Lord. Bases
loaded with no outs and teammate hits into a triple play. So has there ever been a time that everything is going good and a partner or co-host hinders or ruins the moment?
Absolutely. I've had that, and I felt like I had to work 10 times harder. But because I'm such an open book, I leave it to where people actually feel comfortable with explaining things, right? So, and listen, I'll tell you a secret. I don't have no problem. Like, I defend my people to the fullest, right? But at the same time, if a person wants to vent, you can vent. I'll let you vent. I'm an open air. Go ahead. What? He did what? I know he ain't that mother. I'm going to talk to him. And then I'll be like, oh, did you just? I had somebody who breath stinks so bad and was talking to everybody. And I was sitting there going, look, and I smelled it, and I was trying to get a gum, but nobody wanted to take the gum. So, you know, I'm like, oh man, don't talk to nobody. But and, you know, people breath stink.
Don't talk to nobody.
When people breath stink, they like, hey, what? They always use long words that breathe.
Right.
I had to tell him, I was like, yo, my man, do me a favor. Go do something. Go get this for me. I was finding shit for him to go do. Why? Because you can't talk to people. His breath gave me an instant attitude. So I already knew they had an attitude. I wanted to put toothpaste on my fist and punch it in the mouth. That's straight up.
You sent them more things to do so you don't talk to people.
This dude said, go get water. I already got the water. Yeah, I'm still thirsty. I ain't even opened that one yet. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so this one right here. 2nd down and 1 yard to go and defender causes a fumble. Has there ever been a time you think an episode or event is going to be easy and the guest or person in the event makes things difficult?
I'll be honest. I never experienced that. I think learning from NYPD and Border Ed, I've learned how to curve things. So when it looks bad, I've learned certain tools to try to get it back. You know, sometimes it might be a little bit more effort, but it's just like, you know, person sleeping in the classroom. I don't go, yo, wake up. I stand next to him, talk really loud, clap my hands, and hey, so what are we gonna do? And they, hey, so you heard what I said, and then they look like, and then you put them on the spot. Now they won't go back to sleep, and that's all I want. You know, so I will say I'm good at picking up fumbles.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
And you know what? The funny thing is, there was a situation. Shout out to Rock, B. Shout out to my man Rock, B. So, Rock from Helter Skelter, B. Now, you know what's crazy is, and I think I told you this, back in the day, like, Boot Camp Click to me was on that upper echelon of the best group in hip hop to me. Like, there was Boot Camp Click.
Yo,
there
rest
was
in peace, Sean Price, while we at it.
Straight up, yeah, definitely. His anniversary just passed too.
That's 5 years. Yeah. Man. Shout out to Bernadette, Little Sean P.
Word.
You know, Eric.
Yo,
shout out to all of them.
Bernadette is so dope, man. Like her strength is so, you know what I mean. But so Boot Camp to me, like everybody was like, yo, Woo, and I love Woo. But to me, Boot Camp just brought something different. You know what I mean? So I always told you that, man. Boot Camp to me, straight up, man. Buck to, you know, number 1, number 2, and number 3, all down to OGC, man. Everybody to me was always, you know what I mean? So your cousin too, man. Shout out to your cousin, man. So SHICE has this very
Wait, who's
important,
your cousin? What's all this secret innuendo?
Starang.
Who's your cousin? Starang?
Starang Wonder, yeah.
Yo, that was the one that just came on. Yo, that was the word that popped in my mind.
Number
I
1.
was like, I'm no cap. I was like, Starang Wonder. And then you said that. I was like, it can't be Starang, but I'm just thinking of, yo, I was underrated of the whole group. He was the most underrated of the whole group.
Yeah, they were all there. They were dope. Man.
I love my cousin. My cousin is.
Wow.
They were dope, man.
Yo, that dude was underrated, kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Stuff that came later. He had some bangers.
That Storm joint, that solo track with him alone was crazy. Everything he ever been on, man. So the funny thing is, my man SHICE called me. He was like, yo, man, I'm doing this thing. Dope topic. You know what I mean? It was right after George Floyd. And Rock is on there and All-Star. And you know what I mean? And other people that work who have police uniforms who, you know what I mean? It was a dope interview. My man Rock came through. Not 3 minutes in, SHICE goes, yo, so, but when people, you know, challenge you and say, but when black on black crime, this dude, man, shut the fuck up with all that, man. Straight off the bat, he just got in there.
Hold on, let me say this though. He wasn't really telling me to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta know who Rock is.
Right.
Rock say that. Rock was basically saying to the people, shut the fuck up with all of that, right? So I knew, but you know, I purposely
It made a great clip. It made a great clip.
But I put that clip purposely because I asked the question and it sounds like he definitely directed it towards me. I wanted people to say, damn, did he curse me out? But that's my
right. Yeah. Of course.
He's like, yo, and he said it after. He was like, no, I'm not, you know. And I was like, yeah, right. I know you. Like, I know you. Like, I know what you're saying. But he just shut the fuck up.
But that was one of them. Yeah, that was one of those moments because, again, this is a serious conversation. He just got there 30 seconds ago. You know, got him set alive and opened up with that. I said, damn, all right, this is going to be fun. You know what I mean? So that's one of those questions where, yo, a guest or somebody just make you fumble, B. So two more questions.
Shout out to the interview that you did on Let's Talk Crazy podcast. You know what I mean? Which you talked about Black Lives Matter and police brutality. I forget what it's titled.
Reading that up on the screen. He keep looking up. I think he's reading that on the screen.
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
My man is well prepared.
I was about to try to memorize it. I'm trying to come on the top of the dome with it.
All right, two more questions. And one play from 3-point line, right? Was there ever a time things are not working out, but you or someone on your team comes through with a miracle question or play that gives you that thank God moment?
Ooh, that's a good one. Jesus. Yes, there was a time we were looking for a performer who, down to the day of, kept saying, "I'm coming through. I'm coming through." Coming through, and I'm at the show, and I'm going, don't worry, he coming. Oh, we said, and I'm pulling people, and I'm making people come on stage. You've seen it, LiteSkin, when I pull people up on stage, and my thing is loving to make people a part of the show. It landed over a little while. I didn't even realize it was almost 2 hours that the performer didn't show up. And then somebody walks in the door, and while somebody's up there performing, I go to the side, yo, you gotta do it. And it came through, and I just was like, yes.
Fire.
Better than the original guest.
Fire. Last one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those are those moments, man, where you think like, damn, this is trashing right now. But then that one team member, last question. Diehard Knick fan, I am. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm very much suffered it, but the Pat Ewing layup. Was there ever a time that you look at a co-host, a partner, and say, what the hell are you doing?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's why I'm by myself. That's why you see that we got that. And Let's Talk Crazy is now I am by myself. Like listen, people are unpredictable, bro. And like, I hate to say it, like, I don't trust people that much to give you everything, you know, and it's just that way. No disrespect to nobody, but it's been times that people show me that I can't trust my legacy, my brand to a person solely. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, people, I've had hosts who had their own agendas. My thing is, and I'm all about building. Hey, get the contact, do what you got to do, but do it in a different manner. Do it in a certain way. Don't look greedy. Don't look thirsty. You understand? Because I've had co-hosts and people that work with me, and they, oh my God. Listen, my motto is, I walk into a show. If the celebrity don't know me, that's his problem. But I ain't running, yo, my G, yo, fam. No. I'm like, yo, what's good? You owe me just as much respect as I owe you. You understand? And that's just what it is. And I had a co-host tell me one day she wanted me to cut a guest who didn't have a real big name for a guest who she said had a name, but really didn't have a name at the end of the day. And I was like, no, I said, I don't care. 50 Cent coming on the show. If I'm not canceling nobody. Now, I will bring it to their attention and say, hey, we have a scheduling issue. If you would like to reschedule. If they don't, they got to do the show. I'm not canceling nobody, because at the end of the day, those big names don't buy our stuff. They don't play our platform. You understand? Like the people with no names is the people that I'm doing it for. You know, the people like me, the people like you. You know what I'm saying? That's who we doing it for.
Talk to me.
And I'm laughing. I'm laughing. And SHICE is my brother, man. I'm not gonna get into nothing. What I will say,
get into
watching something. I can't. Man.
There you go. Look, come on, let's go.
Yo, I was watching something. It might have been on a SHICE show, or it might have not been. I'm just gonna say, hypothetically speaking, let's just say it was a SHICE show. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, damn it, man, that's looking very like monster. You know what I mean? And I just, because again, what SHICE just said.
Say it, man. I want to know.
I told you about it, though. I told you about it.
Now we want to know. Now
we all want to know.
Everyone want to know.
So
now we gotta know. Nobody on this scene, and
so listen,
we have never seen Mike giggle the way he's giggling right now. We didn't know you could make that giggling sound. Now we gotta know the fact that that giggling.
This is
like a remix. He like,
So here's the thing. This is
just keep
my
giggling,
opinion.
'cause it's not gonna be as funny as you giggling. Whatever you say, it's not gonna be that funny.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. So this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Has nothing to do
We need
with
this
SHICE.
man from now on halfway through every episode.
That's our gem sound. That's our gem sound. So this is my opinion. Has nothing to do with the opinion of SHICE. Has nothing to do with the opinion of nobody else. I take total ownership for this. There was a situation in which somebody was being interviewed, and the person, the guest, was being asked about who they know, and certain people like, yeah, nah, I worked with this person, and the co-host was just on some, yo, I need this. And I'm sitting there like, yo, how are you going to thirstfully ask a guest about somebody else that you're not even interviewing and ask them to do you the favor of hooking you up with this, that, and the third on live? And I just kind of like, and it's not, it's not disrespectful.
Recently?
Yeah.
The
Wait, but was they joking? Was they joking? Like maybe they was joking. Like
no joke involved.
If we talking about the same person, the guest kind of curved it and was like,
Yes.
"Do that." I do.
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. Break it.
And
down,
I'm watching
break
it.
down.
So the crazy thing is, and I'm watching it because it's very important. I think something that one of the major gems that was missed throughout and SHICE just said it, is legacy, man. You know what I mean? And when you are attached, like SoundMinds is all family. Anything that any SoundMinds member does makes SoundMinds look different. You know what I mean? Just like when we talk about NYPD or Board of Vet or whatever it is. So what SHICE just said is very important, man. When he said, yo, I had to do things on my own because my legacy is important to me. And when we don't think about that aspect of things, when we think like, nah, whatever I'm doing is really for me, everybody else pays for it, but then you also, the whole unit pays for it. So while this interview is going on, I'm watching my brother and I'm like, oh snap, damn it, man, this person is making my brother look crazy right now. You know what I mean? Because you're sitting there asking the guest, like, yo, can you hook me up with that person? You're not even talking to the guest. You're talking about somebody else that they hooked. And I'm like, damn, don't do that, man. Because now when you, as a guest, you're put in the predicament of, how do I even answer that? So the curve was gorgeous. The curve was beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yo, listen. Listen.
Which episode was
Shout out
this?
to my brother.
Don't say
Amadeus,
it. Don't say
man.
it.
Amadeus. It was
Yo, it's gonna be
Amadeus.
a
I
lot
was
of
just
homework
watching
after
that
this
interview.
episode, I'll tell you that.
I was
Yeah,
just
but I don't
watching
know
that. I was just watching that interview, man. Shout out to
Shout
him,
out to
man. He's a good
Amadeus,
brother.
man.
Yeah,
Listen,
yo.
I'm gonna tell you no lie, man. Yo, this podcasting thing has shown me, it has tested my friendships. It has tested my, I'm gonna say my manhood. It has tested a whole lot of my
Amadeus is a
soul.
dope producer. Let's shout him out. Amadeus is one of those dudes who does a lot of stuff outside of the business that he's paid
Yes, he
to
does.
do
Yes, he
education
does.
and community. So I want to salute that first of all.
Listen, my
For those
brother,
who don't know Amadeus, he's one of them cats. He moves through the industry, but he does stuff like we talking about. He has conversation with artists on the side. So if you're gonna say his name, salute.
personally, Amadeus is one of the most humbling people I've ever met in my life. From the day that I met Amadeus, he's always greeted me as Peace King. And I was like, when he said that to me, I didn't know how to respond. I was like, what? What did he call me? And it's just who he is. Amadeus, I called Amadeus to help me with a project with some kids. He did not hesitate. And he was like, yo, fam, you need people? I got people. Yo, Nia Lee, shout out to her. He brung Unstar. And yo, he was ready. And I was like, and it was so great to me because those type of things is what this is about. You know, building those relationships and bridging the gap between those who are on and those who are not. Yeah. And a lot went on that day. And Amadeus still called me probably a couple of weeks later and was like, yo, I'm doing something on my block for my community. I want you to come. And I was like, I don't even know how to tell you no if I wanted to. Like, come because he is just that humbling and he is just that guy. He speaks very well and he is who he speaks. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Amadeus all day
Yeah,
long.
most
No,
dope.
he's
That
a
was
dope
great
dude,
question.
man. The funny thing is, I mean, he and the funny thing for the world
I'm
as small
glad
as
you
it is,
touched
man.
on this. Like,
Yeah, nah, definitely. You know,
it's
for the most part,
controversial, but it's needed. You gotta
Sound
do it.
minds.
yeah, nah, definitely. So, and then the funny thing also is that Amadeus works with one of my former students, Captain DMAC, and you know what I mean. So when Shice told me, he was like, "Yo, I'm about to have," I was like, "Oh, that's dope, man," because I never met Amadeus. His heart, though, his spirit, you could tell, genuine dude. You know what I'm saying? And I know Captain DMAC. That's one of my little brothers. He was part of Building Better Men as well. And knowing him, for me to know that he works with him, I already know the type of person Amadeus got to be. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a humble kid. You know, so for the most part, man. Nah, but yeah, I think, and I gotta say, man, one of the dopest things about Shice is there's been plenty of times in which I kind of needed some type of wisdom in certain things. Like this podcast thing, never thought I would do it, never had the interest. I don't like cameras. I just don't like, you know what I mean, the limelight like that. I know my talent, I know my skill level, but when this
Yo,
COVID hit,
people who don't understand that, that's a fact.
it's
And
you know,
I
and
just
then
gotta say that because anybody who been saying, bro, this is our 4th episode on our 2nd season. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rod. Nobody would know that about Light. Like what he just said is the realest thing he ever said. And
thank you,
bro,
brother. Yeah,
we 4th episode in on the 2nd season.
right,
So that
right.
just speaks to your character. Like
And
when you
it's
connect,
needed, yeah. Yeah, man, because I never, you know, I never like cameras and nothing like that, man. But I'll be real with you. Me and Self were talking about doing the Sound Minds project and album and things like that. And then COVID hit, and we was like, yo, let's
that's
open
right.
up a different platform. Let's do this
You gotta
podcast thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of learning curve. And I say all that to say I kind of give the backbone and the backdrop to the story because looking at you, Sean, you know what I mean? Looking at you, Shice, like I seen how busy you are, brother. And there was a lot of times where I was like, yo, I don't think I want to do anything like this, man. But then I felt like there needed to be a platform. And, you know, you can speak on it, brother. There's been times I called you on some, yo, Shice, how you feel about this, man? Or I called, you know, my brother Sean, like, yo, Sean, how you feel about this, man? And this, that, and the third. And not once has my brother ever been on some funniness or pun intended shystiness where it's just kind of like, yo, you need to pay me for that. You know what I mean? You need to pay me for that. Or nah, I ain't giving you those gems. Like he said, what he said in the beginning, he's literally who he says he is. And he's open door, any type of advice. He's the one that, you know, I asked him, yo, what type of streaming devices we should use? And he's like, yo, you should use this and then you should use that. And not once was there ever a feeling of, yo, you bothering me right now. You know what I mean, Slime? Like at the end of the day, we ain't moving together. So why is it
Yo,
that you
it's
even
like Shice is a
shout out
day
to you,
one
man?
dude. Like it's just like when we met Brandon for the first time. We're gonna tell you when Brandon is a young brother who was the first to win America's Got Talent with poetry. This happened just a couple weeks ago.
He got the
was
go
great.
buzzer. He got the go buzzer. He didn't win it yet, but
Shout out to him.
He won his episode and got the gold buzzer to go through the season. So we'll send you the info so all our podcasts can go tell people to vote on first week of September.
right.
But my point is, we were interested in interviewing him because he was so humble in the midst of his success. But it wasn't until on the call when none of us had really met him that it was like, yo, you in the constellation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the
Good
type
dude.
of brother that you are automatically. Like from the way you answer questions, from your willingness to go from different topics, and the way you already been Light's brother, but now me and Raj Shaman, he'll speak for himself. Like you in our constellation now. It's almost like you represent us. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to say that before we go forward. Like,
I
welcome
mean,
to
with,
the
with
constellation,
I
and
mean,
thank
with
you for being
that,
an honor.
yes. With that being said, you know what I mean, we could definitely close it out and wrap it up, and definitely just you two brothers already, you know what I mean, put the icing on the cake, and I just want to say it was a pleasure to meeting this brother Shice.
Thank you,
You know what I mean, like I did just doing the research and looking at the content that I consumed. It was literally what is what exactly is lined up with what we're doing. And then on top of that, to just show, yes, you have your team, you went through your different people who you work with, but at the same time, you also are learning and doing all of this on your own. You know your purpose in it. You have your niche. You know who you are in it. You know, you see all of that now being presented and branded, and that's something that we definitely are connecting, you know, and giving and dropping the gems on right now. So that's what this podcast today really has brought forth, was the podcast meets podcast, and dropping gems with brothers that are now doing this but have the background of what we explained that led us to this. You know what I mean? To show us the highlight. I mean, the clips that can come out of this podcast. If I don't see no clips, man, I'm making them on my own. Like, it's straight up. Like, this is what we got to do.
You already
straight
know
up.
I'm about to start cutting up some clips, man. I'm going back. I always.
So here's the way it is, man. If we don't see clips, man, we canceling everybody. This is the cancel culture. We everybody canceled, man. Everybody in quarantine. That's it. But at the same time, man, one of the dopest things about it is SHICE being able to sit there and be like, yo, this our dead podcast versus podcast. There's a lot of people that would sit there and be like, nah, like he said before, people will sit there stingily and stingy. I don't even know if that's the word, being stingy, and sit there and be like, yo, we can't eat at the same table. You know what I mean? Because that means you might take food from my plate. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, nah, let's build together, B. This is what life is about, where we need to build and construct. And this is how we culturally rebuild what we need in our ciphers. You know what I'm saying? So, SHICE, anything that you have, I know you got an interview coming up, brother. I know you got an interview coming up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I started on titansradio.com, which is my first show tomorrow. And I have Showtime Brando, who actually made me TikTok famous, right? His challenge is what got us TikTok famous. And like I said, I'm only on TikTok because my daughter is my world. My kids is my world. But my daughter, she pushes me to do things, and I will embarrass myself for her. So that's how TikTok started. And that's me and her time. You know what I'm saying?
Quick question. Does your daughter have what my daughter now has, which is a form of Tourette's, where randomly, when she's not even on her phone, which is rare, but if she's ever not, she go to get some out the fridge.
Yeah, all day. That's what
she walks to the block, go pick up the puppy. Hey, Rosie, here's a treat. It's like a new form of Tourette's. You know what I'm talking about.
How they doing this?
What are you doing? This is the real world.
But
TikTok is on that side of the screen.
And the funny thing is, with that TikTok thing, the reason I go hard for everything, just look at
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
For all the parents out there, it's not your child. All of our children are afflicted. It's contagious.
Yo,
I feel like I caught my wife doing one the other day too. She went to the fridge. She was like,
trust me,
I was like,
mirrors in the bathroom coming out the shower doing it.
It's spreading.
But
it's spreading to the grown ones.
Yo, the funny thing,
it might be us next. Fathers, look out. It's contagious.
Hey, it already got him. I'm next. I already know I'm next.
But do you know what's so funny about TikTok? I'll be honest with you. I feel like TikTok is one of those platforms that was needed, especially during this time, because it brought everything, no matter how stupid, how funny, how sad. If you put it on TikTok, people watched. And it was like an unbiased thing. And, you know, with my kids, I try to teach them. And from young, I always told my kids this. If I bring my kids in here I say one thing. I say, you are what? And they got to tell me one thing. I am great. You are meant for what? And they say greatness. I'm meant to be great. And that's the only thing I ever tell my kids. Like, I've quit my job and I told them, don't be afraid to experience things if it don't work for you. You know, I'm not one of those, hey, this is how you're going to be. You're going to be a doctor. Listen, one of my sons wants to be a YouTuber. And do I not get no, because YouTubers are making money. And my thing is, I showed them, no matter how old you are, no matter if you feel like that's what you need to be doing, that's what you need to do. Like, I can now say by the grace of God that I've traveled the world just to do what I thought was just for me, you know, and just to make people that I knew smile, and then realize that I can make anybody smile. And now I travel with Carnival and I do that. Like, you know, that was a blessing in disguise for me. And that was me trying to test the waters and say, yo, maybe the people on this side of the world won't like me. How do I find out? I got on Carnival. I became the comedy club host and manager within 2 months. I was like, and I don't like I am not a comedian, and I'll tell anybody that. I am not the nigga that you want to make laugh.
That's a damn lie.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you this.
Comedians say that they not comedians. Comedians say that.
It's too late for that.
Listen, I'm telling you no lie. I do not.
That's called humility. That's what that is.
Listen, I am not the guy when you pay money to make you laugh. Because I'm the guy when you pay money, you're gonna be like, all right, nigga, tell another joke.
You making us laugh right now.
Yo, but seriously, comedian.
But seriously,
no,
the comedian you gotta make this the funniest thing.
It's fun, but you know why? You know why?
You failed at this point. Nobody believes.
Listen, get your bag ready and catch these gems, because I'm about to throw them all at you right now. It's only funny because it's unexpected and it's free.
Yeah.
If you had to pay to get somebody to laugh, you are looking for particular jokes, and you will sit there and go, that's not what I'm looking for. See, when I host, they go, are you a comedian?
That's funny.
Nope. I am not. I just tell my story in a humorous way.
Why is it getting funnier and funnier? It's not 2 a.m. now, so it's not the time. You're a funny dude, man. Yo, anybody that can talk about not being funny and it just get worse and worse, like,
bro,
you gifted, bro. You just gifted.
That's what we call, and this is what I noticed from you, is that you hold like the jack of all trades. You know what I mean? You're in a lot of positions that you can do for yourself. It's just like a lot of us right now, and you're taking it and you running with it. And we salute you for that, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
We salute your podcast. We salute what you're doing, period. You know, all of your accolades, man. This is what we really wanted to get you on this platform to do, is salute you for that and highlight that, you know what I mean? And pull out these crazy funny stories.
Crazy funny. And that's really, actually, maybe that's the gem of this whole episode.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to be the best at something, you don't have to be the worst at something, but as you going along, like SHICE clearly is a funny dude.
Highlight
but
it.
He's saying I use my humor to understand people who are funnier than me and have dedicated their life to being funnier and gonna be comedians. I respect that that's their lane, they put their time into that. But if he wasn't funny at all, he couldn't even give them their props. It wouldn't make sense. So I think that's a gem from, like, whether we talk about policing, teaching, comedy, rapping, so many different things. It's like you gotta try things out, or else nobody wants to hear your opinion. I don't want to hear your opinion if you have not given a little smidgen of that skill or tried it. Your opinion is canceled. That's
cancel culture. Cancel culture.
I agree with cancel culture. Try it out before you give a smidgen of your opinion, or get out of here.
Facts.
Yo, so with that being said, let's wrap up. Yo, but
SoundMinds to my brother.
Real
SHICE,
quick though, I really SHICE, I honor you, brother. I honor you. I honor your loyalty. I honor your brotherhood, man. And definitely we here for whatever you need to, man. Or whatever, however. And then on top of that, man, I want to shout out, man, the kids that brought us together, who probably are not kids like that no longer, but Lily, Anthony, Brian, Chris, Hazel, Jonathan. You know what I mean?
I just saw Jonathan not too long ago. He sold me a pair of Jordans, goddamn.
Yeah, that dude right now, hustler. You know what I mean? Like, this dude water to a whale type. I seen his IGs. I'm like, yo, is this dude really trying to sell a leaf to a tree right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
And guess what? I done bought that shit.
Got to support our own, right? But definitely thank all of them, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that phenomenal program that you came about with. You know what I'm saying? It brought forth a different type of energy for things that are that for the most part potentially will always be seen as negative. Hip hop and police. You know what I mean? And the youth. Hip hop, police, and the youth.
Can I just, if everybody on this podcast is watching, if you do feel a way about, if you don't think they are good cops, just go look up on YouTube, look on the web, and type in "My school has rhythm, not violence," and you will see a group of people who genuinely care about what's going on with kids. So, and that was just, like I said, that was one of my biggest accomplishments and one of my biggest things that I love to pay homage for, because I'm like, the kids is everything to me.
Any other last words, my brother?
Yo, I want to say the president should give the same award that we got from Obama. The president should give the same award.
Not you. I said SHICE.
The president needs to commend this program. It shouldn't just be up to average people looking this up. The commissioners, the departments, and the policymakers and politicians need to be the ones giving people like this gentleman and his program national exposure.
Facts.
No, we all it got awkward right now. You know what I mean?
First of all,
I threw the alley-oop. But that shit got.
All right, no. I'm about to LeBron James it right now.
Yeah, you gotta catch that shit.
But first, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come on this podcast and speak my piece. And like I said, if you guys want, hell, you guys can come on tomorrow and let's finish this conversation. On a brand new platform. I'm all for it. Like, my doors.
Tell them what time it is.
I'll be on TitansRadio.com. You can listen on Alexa and tune in from 10 to 1 p.m. So I did it smart. I had to do it after the Breakfast Club in that slot where there's no real DJ doing nothing. And, just before H.G. Martinez come back on. So, I picked a good spot. But come on. You guys are always welcome. My door is always open. People follow me at SHICE, MrTalkofDaTown, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. SHICE is SHICE, as you see on there. And if you spell I don't spell it THE, I spell it DA. So SHICE, Mr. Talk of the Town. And my website is SHICE Talk of the Town without the Mr. SHICETalkofTheTown.com, and you can find anything that I ever do. And like
Ride
I said,
and Review, man. You got a bigger Ride and Review, man. I think that's such a dope show.
Star is my co-defendant. Like, if I go to jail, she's going with me. And I'm telling on her to make sure she come with me. Like, that's how bad this is gonna go. But yeah, Ride and Review, that's my baby too. We did that, and we just talk mess about people records, and people don't like us, and it's fine. People do like us, it's fine. We don't do it for you, we do it for us. But like I said, man, I just hit me up, find out where I'm gonna be. Once this COVID thing is over, I will be heading back on seas. With Carnival, I'm just weighing my options out. I don't want to rush into nothing because you can't be funny in a casket. Unless you dress me weird, but that's just it. So, and like I said, I love this, man. Like, follow me, TikTok, anything. If you guys, like I said, I want to extend this. If you guys doing something for the hood or for the school, call me, let me know. I'll come out. Like, that's my thing. That's my element. I love it.
That's dope. Dope. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And we're gonna set that up, man. We're gonna have a part 2 of this. Have the Let's Talk CraZee meets SoundMinds pod. Yeah, we're gonna set that up. Brother.
And I'm not gonna be as humble as I am on this show.
Hey, let's get it.
I'm gonna be a little bit ratchet. I'm gonna flip the script. Okay, I want to find out what King Ra is doing when he blacks out the screen. I want to know that when he is muting, what is he muting for? Is he listening to porno over there? What is he doing?
Hey man, I'm the engineer, man.
He is a master I've never seen somebody in the middle of a podcast run upstairs, put his baby child 1 year old to sleep in like 1 minute and come back down and finish the podcast.
But you know
'Cause
what?
I remember having children, babies, and that was impossible.
And that is a shout out for you as a father. Because
Crazy.
as fathers, we do what we got to do. And on that, let me take off my shirt for my face. If I get a million TikTok views,
There go the viral moment. There go the viral moment.
come on, let's go. Pick it off.
Let's go. We taking out shirts. Flexing on them.
Yeah.
I'm showing me.
Yo, is it just me, or does it always have one of the? This is always in the move.
Yo, you still on the TikTok.
It's always the same move.
And we closing out on the SoundMinds.
Yo, next Sunday, meet us here 7 o'clock. Peace, yo.
SoundMinds.
Salute.